Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I'm Kris Randazzo, and joining me tonight is surprisingly nimble submarine Dan Ryan.
That was my nickname in high school, actually.
It's time for the Alphabet Super Series. It was my pick for the letter U this month, and I went with the Super NES classic UN Squadron. Just how many fighter jets can you fit inside a single cave system? I hope you like flaming unicorns, because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now.
Man, all of that out of context is wild.
Hi, everyone. This is episode 557. It's the week of March 14th, 2025, and welcome. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry, I had to burp. For anyone new here, this is the official podcast of the Stone Age Gamer, StoneAgeGamer.com. Dan and I talk every week about what's happening in the world of video games from a retro gamer's perspective, as well as whatever the hell else is going on in our lives. And speaking of which, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right.
That didn't sound natural.
No, that sounded... How you doing,
Chief? This is why I'm pretty sure I have a brain tumor and I'm dying, because I've been saying weird things. So clearly there's something wrong, and this will be my last show. I'll be dead within a week.
That's all right. I'll miss you. I will. Yeah. I mean, I'll replace you quickly. Don't get me wrong. Like, obviously.
Could never replace you. But we did replace you.
But we did. No. I had a wonderfully funny, to me anyway, interaction today. It was great. I was at work. We were having a training. It's a yearly training that we have to go through, and what's super cool about this particular training is that it's the same thing every year. So for like the last couple of years, it's just like, yep, I can do this in my sleep. So I'm not paying attention, right? And Tiff was having a shitty day at work. So I texted the kids and I was like, all right, we need to make dinner for Mom tonight. She's having a shitty day at work. Let's figure out something to make. And Roddy texted back, and it's popping up on my Apple Watch. So like, I'm not going to be a dick and pull out my phone in the middle of a meeting, but I'm just like checking down at my wrist. And he's like, all right, I'm on it. We could do this. We could do that. Now let's not do this. I don't know. Let me check Food Network. Food Network has never failed me. And then 2 minutes later, I get a text. Food Network is failing me. And I legit laughed out loud in the meeting. I was like, and everybody stops and looks at me. And I was like, my kids are funny. What? And so that's how my day is going. Just laughing out loud in a meeting.
Oh, that's certainly worse things to have happen during a day.
There is.
Than laughing out loud during a meeting.
Food Network has never failed me. Wait, Food Network is failing me. Just thought it was so fucking funny.
Can't
How
rate
are you
that
doing?
Shit. I'm doing okay. This week's been a hell of a month, but it's over now. We are on Friday.
Yeah.
It's this has been an extraordinarily stressful week. I had officially made the decision not to do the city council thing, but I did officially start all the social media stuff I was talking about, and I've been getting daily phone calls from people that are part of this group, just like, hey, I got some questions, I got some stuff, like just talking about stuff. Super nice guys, just like they're older guys that are retired, and like I'm working, and I'm happy to talk to them. They're interesting folks to talk to, and I have questions, obviously, but it's like,
sure,
I also had a bunch of other stuff to do this week, so it was the first chunk of this week was so extraordinarily stressful, and then the last day or so has just been me fending off this headache that I've had for the last couple of weeks that's hasn't really been going away. It's just this low level thing that's been kind of sitting there for ages, and I don't really have an answer to it yet. But theoretically, I may have figured out something that's been maybe one of the root causes of it. So I'm gonna take it easy, maybe get myself some new glasses in the not too distant future, and also a primary care physician, because it's good to have a doctor. But the thing Something happened earlier this week that really dried my cereal. Really,
I've never heard that before, but man, do I like that.
I just made it up, and I'm sticking with it.
Really good. I heard just as a quick interjection. So I'm definitely stealing that. Really dried my cereal. I like that. And then I was listening to the radio this morning, and some dude was complaining about the Giants because they've just been inept for the last decade or whatever. And he was basically like, these motherfuckers are so stupid they couldn't roll a tire down a hill. And I fucking thought that was so funny.
That's a good one.
Just
I've heard that one either.
Couldn't roll a tire down a hill. And I was like, man, that is a damning condemnation on whoever you are saying that at.
That's some top level shit right there. Well done.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I was thinking about stealing it and pretending like I came up with it later. Like I was good. I was legit thinking about how I was going to work it into the show today, but I figured I'd just be honest.
First time for everything.
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah. No, I swear you're the first person I've slept with.
Oof. I bet you say that to all the women.
Have said that before.
So, this is a little something that's been, grinding the old gears for. It's a problem. It's a widespread problem, and I was confronted with just. It made me stop in my tracks. So I posted on Thursday. I always do a Throwback Thursday on the SAG social media channels. I post an old ad for a video game, and I threw up an ad for Super Adventure Island because I like that game, and I found an old ad for it. Looked pretty good. Somebody responded to it and said, "It was a Wonder Boy ripoff. I've shunned it ever since." Now, we have discussed the history of Adventure Island and Wonder Boy.
Yes.
And you know that is a factually inaccurate statement.
Very much so.
It is not a Wonder Boy ripoff. It is literally Wonder Boy. It was a rights thing. They had to change the character, but it is the original Adventure Island on NES is an official port of Wonder Boy minus the actual main character because Sega had owned the rights to that. So it is, by no definition, a Wonder Boy ripoff.
No.
So
I'm not, and I don't even know. I don't know that we have a name for what it is.
It's a reskin.
But it. I mean, okay. I guess we do. Never mind. I guess we in fact do. Because it's just the reskin of the one character. Literally everything else is the same.
Exactly.
There's no story change. There's no nothing. Reskin. I get reskin.
Yeah.
Fuck. What do I know?
So,
it's fair.
Assuming that this person is misinformed, because, right, he is making a statement, right? He is claiming as fact that it's a Wonder Boy ripoff, right? That's the entire statement.
Right.
It was a Wonder Boy ripoff, not, I think it's a worse version of Wonder Boy or anything like that. It is a statement of fact. It was a Wonder Boy ripoff. I've shunned it ever since. So I responded, it wasn't a ripoff. It was an official port with different characters. Hudson licensed the game from Escape, but they had sold off the character rights separately, so Hudson had to create their own character to replace Wonder Boy. They wanted to create more sequels that were more in line with the original Wonder Boy release, including this game, which is pretty solid. It's even got a super 90s Yuzo Koshiro soundtrack to boot. Informative is the goal.
A wonderful follow-up post, not antagonistic, not like, well, actually...
The response is what stopped me dead in my tracks. The response was, I'm familiar with its history, and my perspective is still the same.
Cool. So, I understand that this is factually incorrect. However, I'm going to barrel on through as if my opinion is still the only valid one.
I am looking fact in the face and saying, I disagree. And you can't do that with fact.
You can't.
The
sky's blue. No, it isn't.
Disagree.
All right, I guess we're done here. There's literally nothing else to say.
we're not playing the same game. So
no, that's fair.
Misinformation bothers me so very much, and it is so rampant and so constantly damaging. And I know this doesn't ultimately matter, that one dude thinks Wonder Boy is a ripoff, or Adventure Island is a ripoff, but it's still like, this is the exchange. This is, somebody posted that as a matter of fact, and then, which was incorrect, right? So first off, there was no due diligence of saying, am I correct in my statement here? Just, no, I'm saying this is the way it is, and I'm making that claim for the entire world to see. And then when presented with the fact of the matter, that by no definition is it a ripoff, you are choosing to ignore factual information in front of you. And it's
incredibly frustrating.
There's this woman that at my kid's school that's there at pickup sometimes, and she's a one-upper. You know, those kind of, no matter what happened to you, it's happened to her worse or way better. Like, no matter what, she's got you beat. It was it was probably like 2 months ago. She came out barking some weird story about how, because of course she had the worst day that anyone's ever had with her, or some flat tire situation. And she's telling us, she gets to this part of the story where she's trying to get air put in her tire. And she's also one of those people that just absolutely loves to be the person who gives bad news, right?
Yeah.
I've got bad news. I know what's bad, and it's coming from me. And I'm going to have this smug look on my face because I know the bad news. And it's going to make you so mad because it made me real mad. I'm so awesome that I know this. So she's like, and then I go to Wawa to get air in my tire. And guess what? Wawa doesn't do free air anymore.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm thinking, no, wait a second. I haven't put air in my tires in a little bit, but I feel like I would have noticed if Wawa didn't do free air anymore. So I said, was it just like closed for repair? Because the air pumps, they especially during the winter, they go down for repair all the time. She's like, no, they don't do free air anymore. They're all blocked off. Okay. So later that day, I drive to Wawa, where the free air is flowing like wine.
That's just, I filled it, I put it in a bunch of bottles, like fucking Spaceballs, just to be like, look, I took some home.
But this is a
lousy
person
with free air
who knows how many other people she told this story to. And again, ultimately, in the grand scheme of the universe, harmless, but so happy to just blatantly spout misinformation. Like, I saw something, I didn't do any research or put any thought into it. I just immediately assumed the worst and have now told other people that Wawa doesn't do free air anymore. So maybe the next time somebody's out and they need air, and I'm not going to stop at Wawa because I don't have any change and I can't pay for the air. I'll just ride the rim or something like that. Somebody might make a stupid decision.
Betsy said,
based on some misinformation that this person coughed up. There's no consequence for it. It's just like,
no, there's not.
No, I'm just going to say this like it's fact, and move on with my day. And she was factually incorrect, and it was so easily disprovable. But here we are.
I had an interaction
so frustrating.
I had an interaction like that with a lady at work today. But so much more insane, because okay, when you go to Wawa,
allow me to get some fucking popcorn for this one.
when you go to Wawa, I've been like within like pissing distance from my house, which is a fun measurement. Try it sometime. There's like 3 Wawas. It does, yeah. I mean, depending on your prostate and what you've eaten the day before, how much water you've had to drink. With it, so like, what I'm saying is that they're close. All right, I don't know if anybody's picking up on the subtext. There's 3 Wawas within like walking distance of my house, and every now and again, some fucking schmuck will not know how to use the air pump, and they will break it. And then Wawa will come out, and they'll put the blue baggie over it that says out of order or whatever, which is, I'm sure, what this lady saw. Why would you assume that like, well, Wawa as a corporation has just decided, fuck you guys. We installed these free air machines, and now we're just going to take them away because fuck you. That's why. It's very similar to Atari, how they hate the VCS. No, so we were having a conversation today, and the health insurance that I get through my job is very good, but it's complicated because it's health insurance. And for anything other than just like regular doctor's appointments, there's just a lot. And I don't pretend to understand very much of it. I signed up for what they told me to sign up for when I got the job, and I haven't changed it, and I only pay like $30 when I go to the doctor. So like, I'm good with it. You know what I mean? And I've been to the doctor a lot. I've hit my deductible. We're good. I just go now, and they're like, it's $30. I'm like, the fuck it is. Check your numbers again, Sally. I've hit my deductible. I have cancer. Which is a weird flex, but okay. So we're having this discussion, and this lady is saying that she's trying to go to a therapist, right? Great. You want to handle your mental health, fully support it. Awesome. Get on board. And then she says, any therapist with above a bachelor's degree, so master's and higher, does not take our insurance. And it was like...
This is why I wish it was a video podcast, because I made quite the face just then.
It's just... That's just not true. That's an insane thing for you to have said out of your mouth, out loud, where other people could hear it. If the therapist has a master's or above, they don't accept our insurance. Just blanket statement. And my other friend
you have too much experience. You're going to need different insurance.
My friend who's sitting next to me looks at her and she goes, that's not true. I went to Dr. So-and-so. And she was like, no, they don't accept it. And she was like, no, I'm telling you, I personally went in, talked to the therapist, paid my copay of $20, $30, whatever the fuck it was. And this lady was still insistent that masters and above, not a single one in the greater tri-state area will take our insurance. And it was like, first of all, if you're going to a therapist that only has a bachelor's, this might be explaining some of the problem we're having. Not to disparage anybody out there who only has a bachelor's, but like, if I'm going to a therapist, I want you to have gone to school for a bit. You know, like, I want to know that you committed to this job. Not like, it was this or fucking, you know, a poli-sci major. So I went with this.
In the water a little.
Yeah, like, this seemed more interesting. Like, okay. You know, I was just, man, that is some wild shit to just blanket tell people. And like, okay. And then to argue.
No.
To then argue about it.
I promise you, I know what I'm talking about. I have a bachelor's degree in knowing what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? This person is right here telling you that's not true, and you're like, nope. Okay. Because you can't then, there's no point continuing that conversation. They're just like, okay, then we're just done talking. Because you're a maniac. Full stop.
Well, this was fun, but let's speaking of maniacs, let's dive into the Alphabet Super Series. Jump into our feature topic here. If for anyone new around these parts, not nude around these parts, I mean, you're welcome to be. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do.
I hope as the podcast goes on, you get more nude. Like, I hope that you start fully clothed, and you're like, oh, this is so good. I got to take this shirt off.
It's getting warm in here. These voices are sexy.
Oh, boy.
The Alphabet Super Series is where Dan and I take turns picking games in alphabetical order that we want to play through, or at least put some decent amount of time in, and then discuss just once a month, because it's a video game podcast, and we should talk about video games. And the alphabetical order thing makes it clever.
That's right. We had to find a way to talk about video games on this here podcast.
That's right. We had to think about it. Put some real thought into it. Anyways, so it was my pick for the letter U, and I went with UN Squadron for Super Nintendo. Basic information here is UN Squadron was released in arcades in August 1989, ported to the Super NES in September of 1991. It was developed and published by Capcom, and is an original title that utilizes a license from an anime series called Area 88. It is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up with some unique gameplay elements, and has been lauded for its graphics, sound, and gameplay as one of the best games on the Super NES. Dan, had you played this game before I picked it?
Yes. I love this game. I love this game. It's so good. And I was so upset as I tried to play it throughout the month. I just couldn't fucking do it. I just playing a shmup with the current state of my hands. Because I'm very, depending, especially these last couple of days, right? A lot of it has been weather dependent, almost arthritic in that way. But I'm very bullseye at the end of Daredevil these last couple of days, because the weather has been cold and then hot and then pressure. My hands, it's just been
that bullseye. Gotcha.
That bullseye. Yeah, not the good bullseye. And
Colin Farrell.
I fucking love Colin Farrell, but that was interesting. But that's the way I've felt the last couple of days. Certainly the last week or so. So I just wasn't able to really play the game at the level that I know I'm capable of playing it. So I just put it down. I was, fuck this. I'm upset because I love this game. It's so fucking fun. It controls so well. It's so the music is great. Everything about this game is awesome. And I'm frustrated. So thanks for that, Kris.
Hey, no problem. I did it just to piss you off.
Mission accomplished, sir.
My history with this game is... So this was an early Super Nintendo game, and it was one of the first Super Nintendo games that I had actually seen. I remember going to my cousin's house, and they had the Super Nintendo. Now I'm kind of misremembering. I know I'm fairly certain I didn't get the Super Nintendo when it launched. I don't think we did. I think we got it really close to launch, but I think we had to convince our parents to let us get it.
Right. Because you already had Nintendo. Why do you need another one?
I loved my NES with all of my heart and soul, but the Super Nintendo was just, it was such an amazing leap, and seeing UN Squadron was one of those experiences that I will just never forget. When I went over there and they turned it on, and that intro sequence with the it just looks like anime, and
it does. It just looked like a cartoon.
Amazing music, and it's, oh my freaking god, this game, it blew me away. The music in general just really hit me, and I've always loved shoot 'em ups. I'm a big fan of shoot 'em ups.
Oh yeah,
I am dog shit at them. I am now.
They're hard,
and have
man.
always
They're
been
hard.
Trash at shoot 'em ups, which is partially why I steered so close to Stinger on NES, because it's a much easier game. It's also got really nice music. It's classic Konami action, but
it's much more forgiving.
Love Gradius, love R-Type, love Xevious. I love those games. Just
Life Force, which we've done on the show.
Exactly, fucking phenomenal game. But I am dog shit at it. I've just never been good at it. So when I played this game, one of the things that I need that grace period, you know what I mean? I need a life bar. I one-hit kills are just not great for me. So when I play this game and I took a hit, and it was just the most genius thing. You take a hit, and then it goes into this danger thing. And if you take another hit while you're in danger, then you die. But if you can survive long enough to get out of that danger mode, then your life bar returns, which is just, I think it's such a brilliant way of kind of like paying homage to the one-hit kills of your traditional arcade-style shoot-'em-up, but also giving you a little bit more leeway. And, it makes the characters differentiate themselves, because different ones have different abilities as far as, like, how much you get, how much of that grace period you have, that danger time before you go back, or, like, how fast they can move, or I think how expensive weapons are. I think it might be part of it. I might be misremembering that. But anyways, that mechanic just threw me for such a loop, and my cousins were nice enough to let me borrow the game, and I've been just head over heels in love with it ever since. It is without a doubt, it's a top 10 soundtrack for Super Nintendo. I don't know, maybe that's a bold statement because there's so many good soundtracks on Super Nintendo, but seriously, I don't know,
it might be. It might be really, really fucking good.
It's definitely one of my favorite games I've ever played. It's a freaking masterpiece from top to bottom. Like, there's nothing about this game that I don't like, save maybe some frustrations with the cave levels towards the end. But even that, it's just like it's part of the difficulty curve. So
it's
getting
a fair difficulty curve.
Yes, this game does not feel super unfair, which is one of those things that a lot of shoot-'em-ups can feel that way. A lot of the bullet hell ones in specific are designed very specifically to be unfair. You just look at it and be like, well, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. You just I look at something like Ikaruga, which I own and think is phenomenal, but I look at it and I start to cry. Just within minutes, I'm in the fetal position, just rocking back and forth. Like, I can't. I'm too dumb to piece this together. I will never be that good.
I love that game.
Oh, it's
I got so good at that in college. I got so good. And I tried to play it like a couple years ago, and I was like, man, I'm not really very good at this anymore.
It requires a lot of practice.
It does.
Playing through this game again it was especially fun for me to play through this again for the first time in a while, because like my muscle memory on like how these stages worked and like where to hide and what weapons to buy, it all kind of came back to me. It didn't take me too many tries. I think I got one game over in my attempt to beat the game again, because it is very manageable. It is still a hard game if you've never played it before, but I've played this game through to completion so many times. I was able to kind of like get back there again. It was a very nice experience. What was fun for me though,
it's less than an hour. If you know what you're doing, even a little bit, and if you've played a decent amount of shoot 'em ups, it's an hour maybe. It's not the longest game in the world, and shoot 'em ups never really are. Obviously, like that mechanic is only fun for but so long.
Yeah, but it's very replayable because of how well done it is. So the way I tackled this today, I've farted around with it once or twice in the last month, but I didn't want to put too much time into it because I knew I was going to sit there and just beat it in a single sitting. I've listened to the soundtrack a couple of times, I've turned it on and played the first level, and when I play it, I want to do it, the day of the show. So I'm just like, this is my fresh playthrough of it, and I'm going to go, that's going to be my mental position on it. And what else I wanted to do was I wanted to play through the arcade version first. So I've never finished the arcade version before. I've messed around with it on my main cabinet, but I've never actually spent the time to finish the entire thing. So I did that today.
I don't know that I have either, now that you mention
it's quite the interesting experience. I don't think it's as good as the Super Nintendo game. I really do think that the Super Nintendo game is a superior experience, with the exception of the arcade one does have the option of 2-player simultaneous play. But it is a much more arcade game. It doesn't have that danger thing. You just have a life bar. So you just take damage, and the life bar goes down.
You get a couple hits. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the experience. You have it's completely linear, which is a big change from that to the Super Nintendo one. The Super Nintendo one has this really cool map sequence, and you get to choose which stage you're going to attack as you you beat a certain number of stages, and then your area expand so you can attack different more stuff, and you can do them in pretty much whatever order you want. That doesn't exist in the arcade game. It's just stage by stage by stage, and there are a few things that act really differently, like the helicopters, for example. They I think it's in the desert stage. They have those helicopters and they shoot just a super long trail of missiles at you. In the arcade one, they have flamethrowers. So like you get up near them and they just start shooting flames out of the front of them. And then when you blow them up, they bounce a couple of times on the ground before they explode, which is really neat. It's largely the same soundtrack, but it sounds like an arcade game. So it sounds really, really cool. But playing them side by side, it's really, really interesting because the arcade game looks very much like an arcade game from the time, and you can see it in just when you go straight from one to the next, you can really see the differences in overall power between an arcade machine and a Super Nintendo. But it is so much closer than it has any right to be. Like, considering how early in the Super Nintendo's life cycle, like Capcom was just eating people's lunch on that platform. Their games are so freaking good on Super Nintendo. It's astounding when you really think about it, especially something like the really early stuff like this one and Super Ghouls and Ghosts are still just some of the best looking and sounding Super Nintendo games. And then like it's also confusing because like around the same time you've got Final Fight, which is like a fun port, but holy crap, did they it doesn't have 2-player, it doesn't have Guy, it's missing weird. An entire stage, and I loved Final Fight on Super Nintendo, but it's so paltry when compared to the arcade version. And this one is, whereas you have the UN Squadron, which is like a massive improvement over the arcade one, with all being able to select your stages. There's some unique bosses, and the music and sound effects are just incredible. The arcade soundtrack is fantastic, but like the Super Nintendo one somehow kicks it up a notch, and it does such high quality samples they're using in it, which is something that a lot of Super Nintendo games ran into. Like we just recorded Wave Back for Earthworm Jim last night, and we wound up doing the Sega CD version because I think that's the best version of the first Earthworm Jim soundtrack, not composed by Tommy Tallarico, by the way.
No, definitely was.
It definitely 100% was not, which is freaking fascinating because I just assumed over the years that it was, and it's definitely not, which is awesome.
Look, Kris, I know the history. My opinion hasn't changed, or whatever that guy said earlier.
Oh my God, I want to
be good if I remembered it
all over your face. But so a lot of times you'll get great Super Nintendo soundtracks that are kind of marred by lots of compression. And that makes sense. Is not one of those situations, right? Because like the Super Nintendo's sound was all based on using samples, whereas like the Genesis has a unique sound chip built in. And that's, so Genesis games sound like Genesis
games. It's a bunch of rubber
games.
bands and harmonicas.
Yeah. but they when used correctly, the Genesis sound chip it can make some extraordinary music, and they all sound very video gamey. Whereas Super Nintendo, the quality of music varies so greatly from release to release, and Capcom had such a great handle on how to get the most out of that system's sound. Like the explosions in UN Squadron, like yes, they look more impressive in the arcade one, but they don't look that much more impressive, and they sound
not by leaps
so
and bounds.
Cool.
Certainly,
they have such a great, unique explosion sound effect in this game that it lends so much personality to the game while you're playing it, and it just when you finally beat a boss and those explosions are going all over the place, and those explosion sounds, it has that weird like kind of trail off echo at the end of it. It's such a unique explosion sound. It really gives you this sense of accomplishment, and like whenever you beat a stage, it goes to that cool little mode 7, bam, 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 and they're like flying up the screen, and they'll like say some cheesy ass one liner or something, and it's oh my God, I freaking love this game so much.
There was, to your point, like there's a crispness to the Super Nintendo graphics, like because, and I'm thinking specifically of like Street Fighter 2, right? Playing that Capcom game on the Super Nintendo, you couldn't tell. I know it's different, but you couldn't have told me back then that it was a different experience, that it looked any worse on the home console compared to the arcade. To me, it was perfect. Not so much with the Genesis, right? And this is not to shit on the Genesis, because there are some wonderful sounding games on there. There's some wonderful looking games on there, but there's a crispness to the Super Nintendo graphics for those sorts of ports that I feel like the Genesis was always lacking a little bit, even with a studio that was operating arguably at the height of its powers as Capcom was at that time. You know, even their Genesis ports didn't look, there was just something about those arcade ports on the Super Nintendo, specifically by Capcom, that were so fucking magical at that time.
I mean, even when you're not talking specifically arcade ports, like Capcom's output on, like when you compare, comparing Super Ghouls and Ghosts to Ghosts and Goblins, I think was the Genesis one. Like that
sounds right. Yeah,
it's such a huge difference. Like as far as just overall quality, it was really astounding. Mega Man X, like my God, you think about the music in Mega Man X that sounds so much like guitars, and you really wind up with that, you know, something similar to this with UN Squadron. Like when you think of playing NES games, right? Because this is 91. This is the beginning of Super Nintendo. And if you've been playing NES and Sega Genesis games leading up to this, and then you jump into this game and it sounds almost like real electric guitars, and the drum samples sound like real drums, like the soundtrack.
It's just such a leap forward.
It's like, you know, that Maxell, where the dude's in the chair and the sound from the stereo system
it blows them away.
That's what it feels like playing this game. I swear to God, I'm like sitting in my chair, like you gotta crank the volume on this. And again, I can't stress enough, the arcade music that this is based on is so fucking good, and the Super Nintendo one it really kicks it up, which is not always the case. They just really did such a phenomenal job with this game. So the bosses are a big difference between the arcade and the Super Nintendo one. I feel like I think there might be fewer stages in the Super Nintendo one. I need to do the math on this, because just, you know, going off my sheer memory, they didn't take me, like, I think I spent it was about the same amount of time to finish both of the games. Obviously, I'm playing on a MAME cabinet, so I had infinite continues. You just put more quarters in, or quote-unquote quarters in. Squadron bosses. So, like, the Super Nintendo bosses, you had the tank thing, the giant stealth bomber, which is so fucking cool. I love that stealth bomber. Yeah. That shoots the weird, like, floaty bombs that explode in all the different directions and stuff. You had the big bass that was awesome. All right. So the tank thing in the first level, that's also in the arcade one. The only difference that I can remember off that one is the missile pattern. Like in the Super Nintendo one, it's always shooting the same amount of missiles out of the big cannon on the top. Whereas on the arcade one, it seems to have like two different patterns where they'll shoot like one in the middle and then two on the outside. So you have to like do a little bit more intense dodging on it. The big stealth
and that
bomber,
makes sense. There might be a little bit more memory in the arcade, so they could program a little bit more into it. Yeah,
that does make sense.
I could be completely making that up.
There's like more lasers involved in the arcade one too. Like there's a lot more of the missiles that you can. When I'm thinking about the different bosses, there's a lot more of those missiles that you can explode instead of like things that you purely have to dodge, which is nice. Like I'm looking at that base, and that's in that forest level, and the base, it works almost the exact same way, except the gun in the middle that you have to blow up to actually beat the boss. When it goes in its shell, you can still cause damage to it in the arcade one, but it also shoots this really simple pattern of just bullets you have to dodge, whereas in the Super Nintendo one, it shoots this like cluster of homing missiles that you can blow up. There's the big battleship, which I also think worked pretty much the same way. The thing about the special that I mentioned, the special weapons, like you have pre-selected special weapons to choose from. Like you can't just buy, like depending on which plane you have, you don't get to upgrade to different planes in the arcade one. These are the weapons that you can choose from.
Right.
Like you can only have clusters on this stage, where you can choose to buy a shield, or like in this one, you can only have the little shell thing that shoots out that looks super, super cool.
Yeah.
So there was the big battleship that looks so awesome when you blow it up and the water underneath it changes. Like, so the water is making this different splash to show it sinking. Like, what attention to detail is so freaking good. Then there's that weird, like, land carrier in the desert. That was in there, too. Okay, so there was this big plane in one of the... you start off towards the ground and then you take off into the sky in this level, and you fight this, like, plane that has that, like, it does the big exhaust thing where it charges up its exhaust and then flies away real quick. I don't remember that one being in the arcade one at all. There was a different plane that was kind of similar to it, but it was definitely not that exact one. Then there was this the one in the cave where you have to shoot up at it, or like you can fit your plane like right up next to it if you're like lucky. I've never been good at that. I always get the gun pod. I always do this stage with the gun pod or the ceiling missiles and just sit underneath it and shoot those up at it to beat it. That's the only way I've ever been able to properly beat that. There was the triple stealth bombers, like the 3 like pink stealth bombers that fly around super fast. Those guys weren't in the arcade one. That was another big plane. And then like the final boss. So the final boss wasn't pink in the arcade one. It's still that giant ship that you have to like fly around. You know what I mean? Like you fly past it and your ship turns around. You have to attack it from different angles. But the arcade one, it's gray. But it's also not quite as interesting as it is on the Super Nintendo. Like the Super Nintendo one's just got so many more moving parts that you can destroy piece by piece. It's really freaking cool. So what are I'm looking at this YouTube video of the all bosses on the Super NES. Let me see if I can see an all bosses video on the arcade one. Arcade. There we go. All right. So what do we got in the arcade flavored one? Stinking YouTube. Your stinking YouTube ads. There we go.
Stupid YouTube.
I wasn't using my. There was an update to Chrome that blocked my ad blocker, like that took that away. So I had to. So now I'm back on using Brave for watching YouTube videos, so I don't have to watch ads. All right. So there was the tank, and again, these go straight up in chronological order. Okay. So the big difference in the stealth bomber in the arcade one is that it drops these little like helicopter-looking bomb things, but you can't blow them up. So it turns like the whole sky into a minefield that you have to dodge, which is pretty interesting. The base is almost identical. I already talked about that. Same guns, same basic situation there. Then you had the desert carrier, which again is pretty much the same exact thing. Got a few more frames of animation on a couple of things, but all in all, it's the same. Okay, so then in this one, the weird plane that I was talking about with the exhaust thing, in this one, it's this like chopper looking thing that I don't know. It's pretty neat. I like the jet in the Super Nintendo one better. I think it's cooler looking. Yeah. And that exhaust blast is really neat. Then you have to do this so instead of doing the ceiling thing, it's another one of those like land carriers. It's really similar to the other one.
Okay. So
yeah, I would say that's a definite step up on the Super Nintendo one. That ceiling boss is way more interesting than this one. Then you had to fight, instead of the triple stealth bombers, you have to fight, I don't know, just a couple of army planes. There's really nothing special about them.
Just some planes.
They're big, but like they don't seem all that much different than the regular like mini boss type planes that you would run into during the stages. And there's just like a whole bunch of them, and they just keep coming out and pissing you off. Oh, and then a bigger one comes out. And again, it's just not all that interesting. I like the triple stealth bombers better. Battleship is pretty much the same. The submarine's not the same. Oh my god, that submarine on Super Nintendo is so freaking funny when it launches itself out of the water. It's like submarines can't do that. It looks so silly. It's like zoom, like a. It's so weird.
Not the submarines that I've frequented.
No,
they've never done that.
We are,
but I've not been
connoisseurs.
We are, obviously, and I've not been on every submarine.
Yeah, I don't know that it's impossible for a submarine to launch itself out of the water and then stop itself and splash back down, but
my assumption is that it definitely is, but I can't say for sure. Then
there's this boss that you have to do. It's almost like a mini boss rush where you're trying to get to their weapons depot or something. And it's just like an extended version of the cannon from the base. Like, it's really kind of lame. Okay. It's really kind of lame. And then there's another is this the final boss? Okay, so this is the final boss. And that's the end of it. It's the same basic principle. Like, the same basic shape, but it's not pink. And there's not as many parts that, like, break off when you're fighting this one. So, yeah. Damn good game. Good game. I really love this game.
It really is. It really, really is. Like, Capcom is such a weird studio because, like, I think about what Capcom was doing back then, right? They were doing everything. Their shooters were so good. Like, the list of Capcom shooters is outstanding. Like, and then you had all the Mega Man shit. Like, you had just Capcom doing all these different genres. And I feel like now, and maybe this is just rose-colored glasses or I'm not paying enough attention. I don't know, but I feel like Resident Evil, as awesome as it is, was maybe the worst thing to ever happen to Capcom. Because, like, now it's just, like, they make action games that are
they do Resident Evil-ish. They do Monster Hunter, and then they occasionally do other cool stuff. Like,
but like fighter, it's just
that's true.
But looking at what Capcom was back in the day to where they are now, like, it's wild. They did everything so well. Like, everything they did back then. Not every game was awesome, but they had awesome shit in every genre. And now they're just like, they're so limited. I don't know, it's just wild. What was the last shooter that Capcom made? Like, the last shmup? And I know they're not super popular anymore, but, like, even when, you're looking 1942, 43, Legendary Wings, UN Squadron, like, these legendary fucking games. And they're like, nah, we're just not gonna anymore. Like,
we're
not
gonna do that anymore.
Yeah. All the beat 'em ups they did, and like, man, no, we're good. That's fine. We're just gonna do Resident Evil from now on.
I mean, they have been hitting Street Fighter pretty well. Street Fighter 4, 5, and 6 have been coming out in decent times. 5 was a bit of a mess to start, but it got its feet under it by the end, and 6 has been pretty solid since it launched. But, there used to be, like, the Street Fighter was always their flagship, but they also had your Plasma Swords and your Marvel vs. Capcom and your Rival Schools and Darkstalkers and, like, they had a ton of different fighters. Yeah, exactly. They had a ton of different fighters.
And now it's just Street Fighter.
Yeah, it's just the one. I guess it's emblematic of the industry where it is as a whole. Like,
I guess
it's just more expensive to make. They're bigger productions that take more resources to get done right. And not that Capcom has done everything right, but I think of the the companies that are still around from the old days, like, I'll take where Capcom is over where Konami is any day of the week.
Oh, yeah, that's not even a question, certainly. But I don't know, just maybe with this potential shift that seems to be in the winds, right? Of not everything being a AAA gazillion-dollar budget, whatever. Maybe we'll get back to some of, like, what these studios used to do really well.
Yeah, I mean,
I would be so fucking stoked for, like, give me a new 2D Bionic Commando, you fuckers.
Yeah, Mega Man 11 was
That'd
great.
be so
More
cool.
like that,
Yeah.
please. More like
dude.
that.
Dude, cool stuff, man. I love Capcom. I love this game.
Anyways, there was a sequel to this. Like, this game's never going to get re-released because the stupid Area 88 thing, which drives me nuts.
Right.
But there was an arcade sequel to UN Squadron that I've never actually played. What the heck was it called? I'm drawing a blank. Carrier Air Wing, which, like, wow. What a terrible
that sounds,
name.
sounds exactly like a sequel to UN Squadron.
Like, what
Does
were
it
you
make more
thinking?
sense if you're a fan of the anime?
No, they made this one without an attachment to the anime so that they could.
Oh, right,
they could
right. Okay.
This
Yeah.
one's been put on. This was a part of it's
Right.
on the Capcom Arcade Stadium currently. Like, this one can be re-released because they own it outright, but it never caught on the way UN Squadron did. And I've never put any time into this one. I probably should have. I just didn't have
sure
the time
it's good.
today. I'm sure it is good. I don't know if it's as. I don't know that it's as good as UN Squadron, and that's a high bar. But like
a very, very high bar.
I'm looking at gameplay of this right now, and I'm like, the planes and everything look pretty much the same. Like, could we just, I don't know, reskin UN Squadron so that we can just keep all that music and take the Area 88 references out and just re-release this game? Because, like, the Area 88 stuff is not why I play UN Squadron. I've never seen the anime before. Like, I like this game because of this game and no other reason. Like, come on, you can do that, right? Just get the
weird.
license out.
It's weird to me that you're asking Capcom to release a UN Squadron ripoff, but whatever. You do you.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I want them to release a UN Squadron ripoff. I want an officially licensed ripoff of UN Squadron. I wonder what what's
shit.
Carrier Air Wing. Who did the music for this? I'm curious because, like, if this game's got music that's even half as good as UN Squadron, I'm gonna need to give this game a serious shot.
I believe the music for that one was done by Men Without Hats. Seminal 80s band Men Without Hats.
It's a very, very unique Carrier Air Wing. What a terrible name.
It's not the worst name in the world. Like
it just doesn't. It's not easy to say. It looks cool. Like, when you write it down, it looks cool, but it's not easy to say. And so it just doesn't. UN Squadron composer. Oh, it is the same composer. It's Minami Matsume.
Yeah,
she did some great Capcom stuff. She did the original Mega Man music, the first Mega Man. She did music for Final Fight for 1943. Yeah, she's got a hell of a reputation. So,
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put some time into Carrier Air Wing.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've got it over on the arcade
screenshots.
cabinet y'all built for me. So
yeah, I'm sure, and if not, it is relatively easy to acquire. Yeah, I'm looking at shots of it right now. It looks like UN Squadron. It looks dope.
It does. It looks marvelous. All right. Yeah. Well, that's fun. So before we move on to whatever your next pick is going to be, do I have any final thoughts before we start reading what the audience has to say?
Do you want to rank it first, or do you want to read audience?
Let's do the audience stuff first, and let's rank last.
Okay.
So we actually did get some good feedback on this one, which made me happy because I love this game, and I'm glad to hear that other people love it too. So let's see. Gerardo211 says, hot-ish take, Super NES soundtrack is way better than the arcade one. Yeah, hard agree. And the arcade one, like, I can't stress enough, the arcade one is fucking great. It's just that the Super Nintendo one is just that much better, which is wild. So Trashman said, still not a fan of the cave level, right there with you. I tried to beat it on Gamer, but failed. Yeah, I've never beaten this game on Gamer. Just absolutely not. I would consider hard mode in this game like normal mode and a cave shmup. Is cave shmup a thing? Is that like a genre of shoot 'em ups that they're just in caves?
I mean, there's a lot. If you think about, like, just the different games, different like shmups and whatever, even if they don't take place in caves, there's a lot of stuff where like it's cave adjacent, right? Like even in Life Force, there's some of those like where the shit's coming down from the ceiling and you have to like blast through certain things. It's very like I take cave shmup as more
I guess
of a
like the
feeling
original Gradius, right? Because
than a genre. Yeah.
Is this like when you refer to cave shmup? Are you talking about like games where it's not just flying through space, it's that you have to pay attention to the environment and dodge the environment too?
Yeah, like there's a navigable environment in there as well. But like, because I wouldn't consider Zaxxon a cave shmup, but there is stuff you got to dodge,
right?
You know? But
like in the first area of Gradius, for example, you're going through those cave areas, and if you hit the walls, you're toast. So I would like to hear more about that if that's a thing. Anyway, but I also think this game is much more accessible than a cave shmup to the uninitiated. That is true, and it's one of the things I love most about this game is how accessible it is. Like I said, I'm dog shit at shoot 'em ups. I've always have been, but this game is totally manageable to me, and it's one of the things I love most about it. I can play through this game and not feel like I'm just way in over my depth.
Right.
Let's see. Strangely, I only ever use the base plane, the A10, and of course the F200. Everything else falls by the wayside. That is exactly how I play this game. I don't spend a dime on any of the other planes. I stick with the A10 for the entire thing just until I get enough money to get the F200. Like that's it's so funny. That's exactly how I've always played this game. I remember when I was younger, doing it like piece by piece, trying to get the other planes until I realized that, well, the difference, there's no point in getting any of those other planes. Like, you're just going to take these gradual steps, whereas like the cluster, the bombs, and the Mega Crush, it's really all you need for the first chunk of the game, if you're even going to use other weapons, right? Like,
yeah,
at least for me, I don't mess with anything other than those three. And then like the F200 unlocks all of those. So just save your money,
right,
and get the badass plane as early as you can, because the base plane is fine. At least I've always found that it's fine. It does the job for me. I doubt anything will top this. Great pick. Yeah, I'm looking forward to ranking this one. I had so much freaking fun with this. Love this game. I'm so glad you liked it too. Let's see. Chronodin says, I've played this game, but only a little bit from time to time. I'll try to get in a little time after work today. I think I have it on my analog pocket. That'd be a great excuse to bust that thing back out. Yeah, sounds good. Rumbleman says, I had a friend that had the speedrun record of this game for a while, although I've never actually played it much. That's interesting. Gerardo211 says, this is the only shmup I've 1CC'd. What does that mean?
1 credit.
1 credit completion?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. 1 credit completion, 1 credit conquer, something like that.
I've never heard that expression before.
Really?
Yeah, well, I'm a noob.
You're a nerd, but you're not that kind of nerd. Yeah, I think it's 1. Yeah, beating it on 1 credit.
Oh, well,
specifically arcade type, right? Because that's where it comes from, right? The 1 credit, 1 quarter, whatever.
I agree. I'm out of my depth here. Where was I? All right, so the only shmup I've ever 1CC'd, I usually take the Crusader first jet through the first 3 levels before dropping any coin, then grinding on the Quartermaster Corps nonstop for money. Yeah, those you can do this thing in this game where there are these tanks, and they're just these little mini bonus games, and you can earn some money by just blowing up some tanks, which is super fun. Still a top 10 video game soundtrack for me, absolutely. I have the anime on disc, but I only got through 1 episode. I should probably pick it back up. The arcade sequel, Carrier Air Wing, is on the first Capcom Arcade Collection thing on Switch. Same gameplay, but no connection to the anime. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a swing. Let's see. Duroc Pig said, now I want to check out Carrier Air Wing. Didn't realize it was a sequel. I haven't played this game in a very long time, but I can still hear the short jingle and see the stage complete the screen very clearly on my head. The plane flies toward the screen. That always stuck with me for some reason, because it was super freaking awesome, Duroc Pig. That's why it stuck with you. It was super awesome. Gerardo says again, it's really just a sequel in gameplay. Area 88 UN Squadron is interesting in that the game really just uses the anime as a coat of paint. The main character, Shin, joins a mercenary force and has to fly missions to make enough money to buy his way out. Fuel, weapons, and repairs all take away from that goal. Kind of like a company store. The old guy you buy weapons from is super shady in the anime. Oh, he is? He looks so nice in the game. He's super shady.
Old men are always shady.
Selling used parts and sus equipment. His characterization in the game amounts to his main gun powers up faster. The fact that it's a launch title and the graphics are still amazing. Crazy fire effects and screen-filling bosses, and that Capcom butt rock chef kiss. And just because I'm that big of a dork, I took a pic of my 1cc. It was actually for the Shoot the Core cast, but this is the only shmup I've ever really gotten into. Yeah, look at that. There's his screenshot. Amazing. Well, thank you, Gerardo.
That's impressive.
And Rock Pig and that's impressive. I don't think at my best, I've never, been able to 1cc this game, but oh man.
Yeah, that's like Contra on 3 Lives level impressive.
Yeah, that takes some skill and some dedication. That's awesome. Oh boy, I'm so glad everybody liked this game. I had such a friggin' blast playing through this today, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with Carrier Air Wing hopefully this weekend. I've got a pretty packed weekend. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but maybe I'll be able to put some time into Carrier Air Wing before we talk next. But anyway, we should probably get to the old rankings here. So let's bring up my spreadsheet here. A doobity-doo-doo-doo, Super Series. And UN Squadron. Me. Okay, so we've got first up. You want to go first? Graphics, what are you giving this one?
5.
5. Same here.
Yep. It looks awesome. Like you said, all the explosions, the screen-filling bosses, like the whole thing. It just fucking looks great.
There's also, and especially considering this is freaking Super Nintendo. 1991, and there's almost 91. No slowdown. Like, there's a couple of spots in the game where there's absolutely slowdown, but we're talking Super Nintendo here. Like,
right.
And the fact that this runs so much better than other shmups on Super Nintendo is astounding. Yeah, graphics are absolutely a 5. The art direction is stunning. Everything looks great. Even the character designs, like the dude with the X on his head and the shopkeeper, I think they look way better on the Super Nintendo game than they do in the arcade game. It's just
they look awesome. It's
just that freaking good. Fantastic. Sound.
5.
Yeah, same here. 5. No question. 5. Just, I have no complaints about the sound in this game. The sound effects are great. The
sound
music,
effects, soundtrack. Yeah,
every single song is killer. There's no song in this that's weak. It's just so good, top to bottom.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. Control.
4.5.
I'm giving it a 5. If
I only say
with the control.
I only say 4.5 because there is slowdown, and I got to knock it for something. Yeah,
but even during the slowdown, you still control great during the slowdown. You
still do, but there is some level of slowdown that can be frustrating. I'm just being nitpicky for the sake of being nitpicky.
I understand. With me and the controls, I think the button layout is fantastic. Being able to switch between your alternate weapons is intuitive. Yep. I think that the fact that it was on the face button and not on the shoulder button, it seems like it to one extent it could have been better on shoulder buttons, but I think it works flawlessly with the face buttons. It's expertly crafted.
Yeah. Are the controls remappable at all? I never even bothered to check in the options for that.
It's still on my TV next to me. I could check right now.
I'm always so used to just playing it just stock,
Yeah, that's usually how I rock things too. I usually don't go unless it's a fighting game. I usually don't go in and mess with stuff.
Fighting game is what I do as well.
Did you play Vengeance Hunters this week? Will we get to talk about that a little bit?
I have not played it this week. I haven't played shit this week.
My hands, bastard filling.
My hands are fucked up. I can't do it. I want to
beat 'em up.
I know that there's a lot of button pressing.
Yeah. Excuses.
I
have
know.
cancer. I can't play video games.
Everything fucking sucks. My nerves don't work. I can't dress myself. Man, fucking cry me a river, you little bitch. Yeah, all of that.
Give your balls a tug. All right, fun fact.
Get your balls out of your wife's handbag, you fucking namby boy. What's wrong with you?
Where you hitting this with the old fun factor?
5.
Yeah, same here. Probably not a shock, but this one gets the perfect score for me. This gets the full 20. I'd give it a 25 if I could. This is just one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, it's great. It gets a 19.5 from me, which puts it right at the top of the list.
Yeah, this is
half a point above Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, this is only 2. This is 2 points above Toei Hank for me, but yeah, damn fine game right there.
Damn fine, very good, damn fine game. Which I may be able to tie next month, Chris.
What you got? What do you got for us? What are we playing with the wondrous letter V? What do you got for us?
We're sticking with Capcom.
Oh, then I think I know which way you're leaning.
And we're fucking playing Beautiful Joe.
Henshin a Go-Go, baby. Beautiful
That's
Joe.
Right.
Oh,
I have not played
UN
this in so long. I mean,
I haven't
it ties
played past the first level in a very long time.
Yeah. I can't imagine giving this anything less than 5s across the board, but I haven't played it in so long. Maybe I will. I don't know. I fucking love this game. I'm so looking forward to replaying it if I can.
Yeah, you want to talk about it? Like, that's
I know.
Way more complex than you gotta hold down those GameCube trigger buttons. Slow. Oh, Beautiful Joe. Give me
I fucking love this game so much, though.
Beautiful Joe again. Especially the first one was just that game was lightning in a bottle. Nothing against its sequels. They're all interesting and very good, but that first one was Mega Man 2 levels of just magic.
Yeah, it is out fucking standing. And
that's
a
wonderful pick, sir.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful pick is what it is. I don't know if it's been 15 years, 20 years since I've played through that. It might be. You know, I'm going to be 45 this year.
It's been at least that long for me to sort of playing through it. I've played the first 2 levels,
handful of just to be like, oh, this is so fucking cool.
Years. Exactly, just because I fucking loved this game. But actually playing through it, I think I've only ever done that the one time. And that was sitting down and playing it with a critical eye.
Not just a this is so cool
to continue where you left off, not to just kind of try to tackle it in one sitting, kind of a thing.
A Steam Deck to just take it with you. Which, by the way, that was a super fun way to play UN Squadron for the little bit that I was able to play, on the Steam Deck with a pair of headphones. It was just fucking awesome. So again, thanks, guys.
Absolute tragedy that this game is not readily available on modern platforms. It seriously is.
Again, Capcom, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I can't imagine the Area 88 license is all that lucrative. How expensive could it really be to relicense Area 88? Let's be real here, guys.
It might just be one of those things where it's just complicated because of who owns what now.
Yeah, and how much money are they really going to make re-releasing UN Squadron? I get it.
Right. Is it even worth the hassle of trying to figure out who owns what and what particular license that you need? Because the video game license is sometimes different from the anime and just all of that shit is so fucking complicated now. You know what I mean?
But to have one of the best shooters ever made lost to time because of that.
But Marvel can't make Spider-Man movies, but they can make video games and cartoons. and merchandise, but like, oh, really? You know, it's just all this shit is gotten, and as more and more companies get consolidated or sold, or it just gets that much more difficult, would be my assumption. And the money probably just isn't, the math doesn't math, as the Utes say.
Big bag of feh.
Meh, meh. Same thing with Beautiful Joe. Where's more Beautiful Joe?
Well, I think that one was just Capcom burnt out on it super fast.
But like, why?
Because they hit that hard. They were like, oh, Beautiful Joe's a success. Here's Red Hot Rumble. Here's Double Trouble. Here's Beautiful Joe 2. Here's an animated series. Oh, people are burnt out. I guess people don't like Beautiful Joe anymore. Into the garbage it goes. No, stop it.
Wasn't he in, what was it, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom?
He was first in Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and then he was in MVC 3, or Ultimate 3.
Yeah. But that was it. That's like, I think, his last appearance.
I think you're right.
How is he not in fucking Smash Brothers? Anyway, whatever. We'll talk about that next month when we get to it. But Beautiful Joe, do we have a preference? Do we want to say, like, definitively on the GameCube?
I mean,
does it matter?
The PlayStation one features Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
It does indeed.
But no, I mean, this is and always will be a GameCube game to me. Like, that's what this game was made for. Specifically, this is a fucking GameCube game. So really, I mean, but it doesn't matter. It's the same game on PlayStation. It just doesn't feel right.
I was going to say, I don't think there's the differences are worth discussing.
No.
So like, if you have access to one and not the other, don't like go crazy trying to be like, oh, I only have the PS2 version. I mean, who am I talking to? Just shmemulate whatever you're going to shmemulate.
I don't think Dante changes the game. I honestly have never played as Dante in Beautiful Joe. I've just never bothered.
Because why?
Exactly. Why would I want to play that game as anyone other than Joe? He's so fucking great.
Yeah, he's amazing.
All right. Well, that wraps up the Alphabet Super Series for this month, and we have our next game picked out, and we are going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's new at Stone Age Gamer and dive into some week-old news. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now here's a quick look at what's new in the gratuitous rainbow spectrum at StoneAgeGamer.com.
First up, moles. In the world of video games, moles are terribly underrated. Sure, there's Monty Mole from the Super Mario games, but I don't like those games, so they don't count. What other mole games are there, you might find yourself asking yourself? Where else can one see a digital version of a mole, preferably wearing sunglasses, mucking about? And what about those of us who think video games should be teaching us card tricks, which is like everybody? Well, this time, in the Nintendo report, Kris takes a look at Nintendo's non-Mario properties that begin with the letter M, and it just so happens to focus on a couple of game series that are exactly the kind of games that I'm looking for as someone who likes motorcycles with machine guns on them and ping pong. Find out what the heck I'm talking about in the Nintendo report, Motorcycles, Moles, and Metroids.
Next, if you're like me, and you probably aren't, you're well familiar with the concept of the 4 pillars. I mean, I talk about the 4 pillars all the time. I'm surprised I'm not talking about the 4 pillars right now. But if you aren't cool like me, then maybe you need an explanation. You see, the 4 pillars is an idea wherein there are 4 quintessential things in a given topic, like Mount Rushmore, but less exploitative. So, with that information in mind, what would the subjects be if we were talking about sports video games? And why is Virtua Tennis not one of them? Find out why Dan hates Virtua Tennis and everyone who plays it in his first blog post in the gratuitous rainbow spectrum, the 4 pillars sports games. It's really just 400 words about fuck Virtua Tennis and everyone who plays it.
And everyone who plays it, you fucking assholes. I get it. It's tennis. Ugh. It's the best version of Pong. Eat a dick. It's it was bold of me, I think, to come out for my first, like, as an officially official member of the Stone Age Gamer team. It's a bold move for me to come out and be like, here's why all of you are fucking cunts. But that's what I went with.
I mean, Ryan doesn't read this stuff anyways.
No, he doesn't. I mean, if he did, and he still is like, yeah, here's money, that would be like a really weird thing for him to do with his money. But whatever.
He's too busy polishing his yacht.
That's right. That's what I call it, too.
That's what... polishing.
Actually, I call it...
That's a weird I call euphemism.
It court-martialing the private, but, you know. Yay, beer. Are we... We're going a little bit behind the scenes here. Is there a reason this is red now? Oh, God. Now you're over there.
I highlighted it because I highlight things randomly while I'm looking at the screens, and I just forgot to unhighlight it. That's all.
All right. I got nervous for a second. I was like, oh, it's not the right commercial. Vamp. Finally, can the Nintendo Switch stay relevant? That is a question. Like, literally, and I'm not making this up. I wake up, like, eyes, it's alarm clock, eyes, check, make sure, like, everything's still where it's supposed to be, get out of bed, stand in front of the bathroom mirror, and just, can the Switch stay relevant? And every day, Chris, as I'm looking in the mirror, I give myself the same answer. If they have intelligence, nay, if they have the bravery to listen to you, Chris, about what to do. Like Nintendo, successful 100-year-old corporation, definitely needs to call you about how to keep the Nintendo Switch relevant. That's right, because even with the Switch 2 on the market soon, it's possible for the original recipe Switch to catch up to the PlayStation 2's lofty sales record. And getting to that point wouldn't even be all that hard. What do yellow banners have to do with literally any of this? Learn all about it in Can the Switch Stay Relevant?
And for all this and more, be sure to check out the gratuitous Rainbow Spectrum under the blog section every Wednesday at stoneagegamer.com. Fucking devastated. Anyway,
he looks so good with the beard.
We're back. We're back and better than ever. This was a week at Stone Age Gamer where nothing huge happened. I don't think we got any major new products as far as I'm concerned. I know we've got the ball rolling on a few different things.
I mean, a major new contributing writer.
That is true. That is well worth saying. Dan has officially joined the writing staff here at Stone Age Gamer. I am no longer the sole proprietor of our blog, and I will now get every other week off as Dan writes blogs for Stone Age Gamer, which is wonderful for me. It's a huge help to me.
If you skip over the commercial section, it's a weird thing for Ryan to do with his money.
It really is.
He obviously doesn't listen to the show. Like, yeah, give that asshole an official fucking spot on the payroll. But now, like, what upsets me about it, Chris, is that now I can't, like, be like, well, you, because now it is us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, now I'm part of this shit. All right, Max, I'll be mayor. It's fine. It's fine. I'll take over. I just want to know when I get my yacht. That's all, like, I'm really, like, we didn't get a ton of products in this week, but...
decade into this and I don't have a yacht yet. I don't even have a rowboat.
I don't even have a PWC, motherfucker. What's wrong with you? A yacht. It's personal watercraft, for anyone who was wondering.
You can get a kayak as a bonus. Yeah, no crazy new products as far as I can tell, but I will remind everybody that our podcast listeners have a special coupon code for this month. The coupon code is RUSH. That's RUSH, as in Mega Man's dog. All capital letters. It'll get you $5 off orders of $30 or more. The coupon code is valid until March 31st, 2025 at 11:55 p.m. Eastern. Limit 1 use per customer. The $30 threshold is based on order subtotal, does not include shipping or taxes, cannot be combined with other coupons, and it does not apply to pre-ordered items. Once again, that coupon code is RUSH for $5 off orders of $30 or more. Thank you to everybody for listening to our podcast, and I hope that you enjoy your $5 off coupon. And with that, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody's favorite segment. Strap yourselves in for Week Old News. Welcome to Week Old News, where we talk about all the news that was new a week ago. First up, from Push Square, Konami has announced a new Suikoden game, but there's a huge catch.
Yeah, there is.
Allow me to read from the article. It's been almost 20 years since the last mainline entry in the Suikoden series, so the time feels right for a new game. Suikoden Starleap, announced during a glitzy live stream overnight, is in many ways exactly that, except there's a big catch, as the publisher proudly proclaims this is the, quote, first title to be tailored for mobile. Yes, indeed!
It's not the worst thing in the world.
It is a free-to-play Suikoden game for mobile that looks gorgeous, and I wish it wasn't a mobile game.
I do too. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like, mobile games now are not what mobile games were even 5 years ago, right?
True.
Like, when we say mobile game, it doesn't necessarily have to be a pile of shit.
True, but it is a free-to-play game, which means microtransactions and all sorts of other nonsense instead of just being a video game that you can play and then be done with.
Right. Yeah, I know.
And that's what makes me sad about it. Like, because I don't know Suikoden. I've never played a Suikoden game before. I think it looks marvelous. This trailer is just gorgeous. It looks wonderful. And it really bums me out that this is just going to be a mobile phone game instead of what I imagine most Suikoden fans want is this.
Which is a new game. Yeah,
this on a console that they can play on their TVs with their controller on their PlayStation or whatever, and that's just not what's happening here. And maybe they'll make a version of it that's not a free-to-play thing, and maybe it'll work like that, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean,
Konami, a lot of mobile games...
What are you doing?
Do come out eventually on the home consoles. That's not... I mean, fucking... Horizon.
That's
a mobile game.
Yeah, that's a mobile game, and it came out wonderfully on consoles, but then you've also got that Castlevania game that was not very good.
A pile of shit. Yeah.
But it was a couple turds. It wasn't a pile of shit. Like, it could have been... It certainly could have been worse. But, you know, they threw that up on Apple Arcade, and I played it, and I was like, there's a game here, but it's not
but
really
this isn't
good.
Great.
You know, this isn't great. And I wish it was. But, you know, the lure of infinite money from microtransactions and the free-to-play games, it's hard for companies to say no to. Like, you can just make video games and make money the old-fashioned way, and money can be enough. But, you know, when there's the possibility of making all the money, who's going to take that? Crazy
Who says no?
Who says no to that? Speaking of terrible things, Push Square again. We have this wonderful headline here. Activision's AI slop strikes again as fake Crash Bandicoot Guitar Hero games and Guitar Hero games appear online. Users forced to do surveys instead of gameplay. Whew, all right, here we go. I'm going to read straight from the article again. If its use of generative AI to produce Call of Duty assets wasn't bad enough, Activision is using the controversial tech to create adverts for fake games based on its IP. It's been noticed how the publisher is advertising on social media sites like Facebook and Instagram for Crash Bandicoot Brawl, Guitar Hero Mobile, and Call of Duty Zombie Defender. That is despite the fact that they don't actually exist. The promotional images have been created using AI, and since the games aren't actually in development, clicking on the store links associated with them takes you through surveys to complete. Quote, "This isn't a real game, but could be someday," reads the message. We'd love it if you consider if you could answer this short survey, which could help inform the potential future of this game. Your feedback really matters to us. And I didn't finish reading the article because I couldn't stop throwing up.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Activision.
I was poking myself in the eyes with fucking pencils. Not even sharp ones, dull ones. Like the fucking tip of a mechanical pencil without any lead sticking out of it. Just... Oh, God damn it. If that just isn't... Like, we are living in the stupidest fucking timeline.
We really are.
It's
just
so
infuriating.
Fucking stupid. If the Chicago Cubs won the World Series and everything has been shit since then. I gotta be honest, it wasn't worth it. It just wasn't fucking worth it. We live in idiocracy now. And how many people are clicking on that being like, oh, no, my opinion really matters. They said it. I want Crash Bandicoot Brawl. Fuck you. So dumb. So dumb.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I hate it. I hate everything about it. But sticking with Activision and them doing something that's not terrible, Kotaku reports, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 officially revealed, launching in July. I don't know Tony Hawk 3 and 4 at all, but there appears to be some sort of controversy surrounding like a gameplay change, like either it is open world or it's not open world. Was one of these open world? I don't know these games at all. No,
they were not.
Okay.
No, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 was the last one to not be open world.
Okay, cool.
I'm almost, but maybe I'm misremembering. I don't think I am. Because after 4, I think we went to Project Underground was the next one. Or maybe just Tony Hawk's Underground. Not Project Underground, just Tony Hawk's Underground. For like a couple of those, and those became like the open world shit.
Let's see. Toei Hank 2,
obviously.
Toei Hank 3, 2X, 4, Underground 2, American Wasteland, Downhill Jam, Project 8, Proving Ground, Motion, Vert, Ride, Shred, and so that was one a year till at least one a year. Where was that 3DS one? There was because there was an American Wasteland and there was American Skateland for 3DS. There it is, Skateland on not 3DS, regular DS.
And Ride was the one with the skateboard peripheral.
1, 2, 3,
right?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. They went all the way through for 10 years, every single year having at least one Tony Hawk game.
Right.
Motion was... That was the 2008 was the worst one because that was Tony Hawk Motion for DS. That was the only Tony Hawk game that came out that year. And then 2009 was the mobile game Tony Hawk Vert, which I've never even heard of. But yes, Ride was the one with the big skateboard peripheral that you rode on that didn't seem to go over very well.
I don't think it did. No, I never played it. I can't speak to how well it performed.
And then they skipped 2011. And 2012 in Pro Skater HD, which I think that was the one that everyone hated, right?
It wasn't good. Yeah.
And then 2014 Tony Hawk Shred Session?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
iOS
that sounds like
Android.
Some mobile game. I was just going to say, that sounds like some mobile bullshit.
Oh my god, there was a Pro Skater 5. I didn't know that. 2015 Pro Skater 5 for PS3 and 360.
Huh. I don't know what I was doing.
That's another iOS and Android one.
Yeah, that's some more mobile bullshit.
And then 2020 1 and 2, and then 2025 3 and 4. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 3 and 4 are great. They're what's cool about it is like by the time we got to 4, they had added all the stuff that is in the 1 and 2 bundle remake thing, like the spine transfer and the manuals and all of the stuff that allowed you to continue to link your tricks. They added all of that back in for the 1 and 2 collection. because like as we were going through the iterations of the game, they kept adding a new thing to it, and it was like, oh, this opens up so many more possibilities and so many more things. And by the time they got to 4, there's some really interesting levels, there's some really creative designs in there. What I thought was really cool about the trailer was that they did say that there would be like new skaters and new levels that they were going to put in it. Now, that's going to come at the expense of some of the older skaters. Like, I know for sure I saw something this week that Bam Margera is not going to be in this game, which isn't the worst thing in the world, because Bam is somewhat problematic now compared to the problematic he was back then. It was a different sort of problematic.
Hey, Doomslayer's going to be in it. And Revenant.
Yeah,
That's
which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen Bam lately, but he's not doing well.
I don't think I could pick him out of a lineup.
Really? You weren't a Viva La Bam fan back in the day?
Nope.
On the old music television?
No, sir. No clue.
Or Jackass? Jackass is really funny.
I didn't get into Jackass at all.
I'm not going to lie. I fucking love those movies. They are hysterical. I mean, you know enough about them as people, though, to know that it's really weird that in the year of our Lord 2025, Steve-O is the voice of reason and Bam is the one who's come off the rails in a big bad way. And if you knew anything about them 20 years ago, that did not seem like it was going to be the case. So, but no, this is awesome. I think it's great. I'm very, very excited. I'm glad it's happening in July of this year and not like, hey, we announced it's coming out in 2026. Summertime, this is the perfect time to drop something like that. I'm very excited.
I love good news. Speaking of good
right?
news, Polygon
Come on,
reports
Activision.
Streets of Rage 4 devs channel Golden Axe D&D in new beat-em-up Absalom.
This looks so cool.
It does. It looks really neat. It's so the teams are so Dotemu is publishing it. Guard Crush and Supamonks are the ones that are doing Absalom, which will feature, quote, intricate, refined combat and maximum replayability thanks to unlockable items, quests, branching pathways, and permanent character upgrades. Yeah. It looks like a super cool new original IP beat 'em up, and you love to see it. It's got that really cool hand-drawn animation style that like Streets of Rage 4 had, and Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap had, and the new Shinobi game has. So I love everything about this. It makes me very happy to see
I'm into it.
This is coming. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's got some like some Fields of Mysteria vibes, and yeah, I'm into it. It again, going back to what we said earlier, is very shocking with the rebirth of the beat 'em up that we've been experiencing these last couple of years. Where is a new Final Fight, guys?
Yeah, Capcom.
Not a new Final Fight guy, but I would take a new Final Fight guy. Just I don't know if you remember the last Final Fight, but it wasn't great, and you could redeem yourselves. Just saying.
Well, speaking of things coming back, Time Extension reports more than 20 years later, Acclaim is back from the dead, and WWE legend Jeff Jarrett is involved. I didn't have this on my bingo card.
No. I mean, Jeff Jarrett is a carny piece of shit. And I say that in a somewhat endearing way, because like I like Jeff Jarrett now, but he hasn't always been the best for whatever business he's been involved in. It's weird that he is involved in this.
The revived Acclaim has assembled an advisory board, quote, comprised of esteemed industry leaders, including Russell Binder at Stryker Entertainment, Mark Kaplan.
Wait. The Russell Binder?
I don't know. Is that a name you know?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all. I just
Mark?
like to put the in front of things. It sounds more important.
The Mark Kaplan at Ridge Partners and the
right?
Jeff Jarrett at Globe Force Entertainment. So it looks like they're going to be working on indies and classic franchises. I don't know what that means. I don't know what Acclaim... Like... Does it have a portfolio of IP anymore? Because I feel like all the Acclaim stuff was sold off.
I thought so too. But, like, I mean... Yeah, I don't fucking know at all. Jeff Jarrett is a 56-year-old wrestler from Tennessee. Not entirely sure what he has to contribute to Acclaim.
The 57-year-old Jarrett, who has wrestled for WWF,
57.
WCW, WWA, and AEW, had this to say about the news. For more than 3 decades, I've had the privilege to have been a part of both the wrestling and gaming universes, and I'm thrilled to now be a partner in the revival of Acclaim, an iconic publisher known for releasing some of the most legendary games of the 80s and 90s. From my early involvement with the publisher's hit 16-bit WWF titles to my experience helping shape the TNA wrestling series, which spawned the first video game wrestler to become a full-time roster member in the Squared Circle, I've seen firsthand the type of impact great games can have on players and fans. Resurrecting Acclaim is an opportunity to impart the same degree of passion and love to a new generation, and I'm excited to be involved.
Piece of shit.
I had no idea he was involved in previous video game wrestling projects.
I mean, involved? Like, see, that's the thing. Jeff Jarrett is the son of Jerry Jarrett. Jerry Jarrett was a promoter. And Jeff Jarrett is also a promoter. And when he says TNA wrestling, he did start TNA wrestling, but he was also the booker and the promoter, and he made himself champion a lot of times when he was never a champion anywhere else because he's pretty mid. And, like, it's fun to see him in AEW now because, like, oh, that's cool. It's Jeff Jarrett. That's fun. But, like, he's a promoter. Man, I don't know. I would take everything he says with a gigantic grain of salt from what I know of the man.
So here's the thing. This announcement did not come with any game announcements.
No.
Which makes
we're back.
I'm smelling Intellivision entertainment here. You know what I mean?
I didn't want to say, like, as I was talking about it, I was like, he's more Tommy Tallarico than he is anybody. Like, he's a hype man. He's a promoter. That's what he does. And that's, like, okay, you know, it's fine.
Acclaim went under without it didn't have a great reputation when it went under. Like, Acclaim has been responsible for some cool stuff, but also has been responsible for some really not cool stuff. Like, there's some serious shovelware. It's neat to see the theoretical return of this brand, but I also remember Accolade making a big deal about coming back, and
that has been much ado about nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like, what happened with Accolade? It was because, like, Sunsoft, they made it an attempt at coming back, and they're still doing stuff. You know, it's very small scale, but they're taking it seriously. Let's see, when was this report from? 2017. Accolade is apparently back from the dead and making a Bubsy game. So yeah, Accolade coughed up a couple of Bubsy games. But now Bubsy's owned by Atari, so, like, that went nowhere. And this seems like the same thing. Because, like, Accolade and Acclaim, that was I think Acclaim's name was what it was because it comes alphabetically before Accolade. Like, they picked Acclaim because ACCL comes before ACCO in the alphabet. Like, I don't know. I'm not filled with high hopes, but you know what? Good on you. I eagerly await the next Acclaim joint.
Like, I'm looking at the wiki. The Wicca. It's a very different thing. Like, of just when some of their things were sold off and whatnot. And it doesn't seem like any of the games that you would want them to bring back are owned by them anymore. Like, in 2006, Throwback Entertainment acquired more than 50 of Acclaim's games, such as Revolt, Extreme G, Gladiator, Sword of Vengeance, Vex, Fur Fighters. XS Games in 2007 got the Red Star, which was actually a dope game.
Yeah,
in 2010, We Go Interactive acquired Revolt from Throwback, apparently. RC Revenge, RC Go. In 2015, Gregarious Games got the Acclaim trademark. In 2018, the Liquid Media Group purchased NBA Jam, AFL Live, All-Star Baseball, NFL Quarterback Club, as well as games from Japanese developer Taito that Acclaim had published outside of Japan. So, like, NBA Jam would be the one, right? Like, if you had the rights to a thing and it was like, Acclaim is back, we've made NBA Jam, have at it, you fucking maniacs. That would be the one. Like, nobody gives a fuck about All-Star Baseball. You can't even make it. Right? NFL Quarterback Club, like, Madden exists. They're not going to let you do that. Like, what? Okay. I don't get it.
Like, there's the Wizards and Warriors brand, but they don't own that anymore. The company that does is just a holding company, and they're just waiting for somebody to pay them enough money to use the property again, which is fucking embarrassing. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have high hopes, but we'll see. I've been wrong before.
Maybe there will be a rebirth of LJN through this. Because didn't Acclaim own LJN as well?
I don't think so. And that would just be great. I think they worked with LJN, but I don't think they owned
or just published things from LJN. I thought they owned them at some point.
Maybe. Who the hell knows?
It doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. So it really doesn't matter. It's fine.
Push Square reports PlayStation struck by more layoffs in the aftermath of multiple canceled PS5 games. This update Wednesday, March 5th, 2025. It looks like Sony support team PS Studios Malaysia has also been struck by layoffs. The site claims approximately 18 staff have been let go, ranging from artists all the way through project managers. Apparently, staff were told the layoffs were not due to performance, but rather a reduction of the overall workforce.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing, right? Like, all of us, on this show included, that have been pushing for this return to smaller games, right? That does mean that people are going to lose their jobs. Now, theoretically, there will be more like teams that can form from that can make games, but if every game isn't a $70 gajillion project, then you simply don't need as many people. Like, that's just that's just numbers.
Your output,
right?
Unless you want to,
and that's what I'm saying.
Instead of having 500 people on a project, take those 500 people, have them make 8 to 15 different games. Have all the studios make smaller games. You don't have to decrease the workforce. You can make more money and make more games. When we do the 10, 20, 30, 40, remember how many fucking games were on PlayStation 2? And, like, they were all good. Like, not all of them, but, like, just the percentage-wise. You'd go through this, like, 30 to 40 game list, and, like, 15 to 20 of them are classics. Yeah. Because you had these teams. There's tons of work to be had in the game industry. But instead of making like, well, we're going to have a 500-person team, and if this one game that all 500 people are working on doesn't pan out, we're going to lay off 300 of those people and then start from scratch. Instead of just having each studio work on the project that they're going to work on and increase the output of decent games instead of one really good or one very expensive looking game every couple of years. You don't have to do this layoff thing. Right? Exactly. It takes time and it takes a deal of investment. but there's profit to be made that way. It is the safer, more sustainable business. It employs more people doing something that they can actually care about, and it makes for a healthier game industry.
God forbid. Yeah.
Yeah, God forbid. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, but it just takes time to get to that from, we had this huge thing, and now we're breaking it up into all these smaller things. Like, many of these people that have been laid off will get jobs in the game industry again. But that shift, it just takes time to occur, Yeah. So we are hoping for that. But it's going to suck for a little bit for a lot of people. And that ultimately sucks for them way more than it does for any of us, right? We're not losing our jobs because of it. But, yeah.
I just wish that they would look at it as restructuring instead of laying off a bunch of people. Like, you've got this staff of people who are capable of making games. Start breaking them into teams and start coming up with smarter projects that are safer bets. Safer bets than live service bullshit, and work
certainly
there.
Than that. Yeah. I mean, just that series that you write on the blog, like, you look at all these properties, especially like Nintendo, I think does a better job, but they're still not perfect. Obviously, there's a lot of Nintendo-owned IP that is underdeveloped or undeveloped at this point. How many of those
compared to the PlayStation report is astronomical.
It's not even close. Yeah,
I just
it's not even close.
A video of the PlayStation report for the letter B, and holy cow! There's not a single game that starts with the letter B was still around, or at least still healthy. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like, so Sony has always taken this approach to their IP, where it's like, moving on to the next thing. They don't always look at something like, we're going to turn this into a franchise. They look at something like, we're going to make this thing and see if it works out. Which is, in some ways, cool because it has led to so many different properties over the years.
Right.
But at the same token, they've also run into a bunch of situations where, like, if they took another swing at this, they could turn this into something. Like, if you iterate on this, you could make something really good. Like, if you don't have to stop with just one. Like, make more Blasto, for fuck's sake.
I know.
I understand he was tied to Phil Hartman, but that was a long time ago. There's promise in the basic gameplay elements of Blasto and the character designs of Blasto that you could do something cool with it now. Like, you can actually...
Yeah, like, there could be a really fun, irreverent, snarky-ass Blasto game that would be cool, And, I mean, look... I love Phil Hartman to itty-bitty pieces. Some of my favorite SNL bits are Phil Hartman bits. Every time that dude popped up in a movie, I was never like, fuck, there's Phil Hartman again.
Guy.
This is going to suck. Like, every time he popped up, I was like, it's fucking Phil Hartman. He's in Jingle All the Way. I love that movie. He was awesome. I don't think a lot of people associate Phil Hartman with Blasto. Like, it's definitely the other way around. We kind of, those of us of a certain age, associate Blasto with Phil Hartman to the point where would any of us be like, some of us probably would. The internet exists. This is such a shit on the fucking legacy of Blasto. How dare they recast it with Timothy Chalamet or whoever the fuck they would get.
But you look at this stuff that they own, especially with, like, they own Psygnosis. Like, put a team on taking a new swing at Lemmings. Like, fucking Lair was such a disaster, but it's a game about dragons. Fucking do it right. It's a game about
just
flying
make it
on
better.
dragons. Just do that better. Take another shot. It's not like there was nothing of value there. Like Mark of Cree or Cry or however you say that.
Oh my god, Mark of Cree and Rise of the Kasai.
Jumping Flash? Like, you saw
dope.
the attention that got when Jumping Flash showed up in Astrobot.
Yeah.
There's love for this stuff. Go
back. Where's my new Cool Borders?
Yeah, where's Cool Borders? Nobody's snowboarding anymore. What the hell?
You could do fucking Cool Borders every 4 years when the Olympics come out.
You
and it would be fucking awesome. Like, I wrote about it in the article on the blog of, like, EA Sports Big. There was a time when sports games were fun. And they weren't microtransactions and realism and look at the amount of stitches we got on the player's uniform. Like, oh, did you? Great. Is it any fucking fun to play? You know, like, God damn it, man.
And while we're at it, Nintendo, give me a fucking Wave Race game already.
Right?
Fucking love Wave Race, man. Those games are great.
Like, that's so fun. Nintendo's weird. Like, where's my new F-Zero? Like, come on. I get Mario Kart is the racing game du jour.
You got F-Zero 99. That game's awesome.
You know what I
know
mean.
It's not what you want. I know it. Yeah, it's not.
It's
a
not
new proper
even a
F-Zero.
little bit. Like, come on.
I wouldn't. I don't think you're giving that game the credit that it deserves. F-Zero 99 is really fucking good.
Sure, but that is not at all what anybody wants. It's what you settled for, and you were like, I mean, it's good. It's really good.
I really like the notion of that. I want
dickheads really need something.
I know this is really like veering off in a totally different category here, but F-Zero 99, I think, is a phenomenal basis for a sequel to F-Zero GX, because the whole 99 racer thing, like, that works really well. That is perfect for F-Zero, because that's always been F-Zero. Like, ever since F-Zero X, like, the first one didn't have that many racers, but F-Zero X, the track was just full of it was chaos.
Yeah.
And that's what made that game so awesome. So now we're at a time where you can have actual people driving all those cars. That is fucking awesome. And F-Zero 99 is this marvelous proof of concept that you could do that. And if you can take F-Zero, what works about 99, and apply it to a full game like GX, now we're talking. So I'm hoping that's what I'm hoping that's what this is. This is like a sort of a proving ground of, like, we're going to apply the Tetris 99, battle royale formula to F-Zero, which has kind of always been a battle royale racer to an extent. If we can make that work, now imagine putting what they did into 99 into a fully realized GX level game. That's something. So
and it differentiates itself from Mario Kart to the point where, like, they are separate things now. It's not just Mario Kart in space.
I felt the need to defend F-Zero 99 because it's a game that does get looked down at, because it is not the it's not the sequel that everybody wanted, but it's also not Metroid Prime Federation Force, where it's just completely tone deaf.
No, certainly not.
It is way better than it looks. And if you are an F-Zero fan and you haven't given it a proper shot, you are doing yourself a disservice, because it is absolutely an F-Zero game. Like, because F-Zero, that flat Mode 7 look was, 3 Game Boy Advance games and the Super Nintendo game. Like, more than half the series of F-Zero has been based on that look. So that, F-Zero 99 really is a legitimate F-Zero game. It just doesn't come off that way because of what it is at its core. But I really hope that it's leading towards something awesome, because, like, GX is one of those games that you go back to and you play the story mode and you see the cinematic sequences, and it's just like, the people at Sega were fucking crazy. Like, that whole story sequence is really
always have
bizarre. But holy shit, the actual racing in that game, while insanely difficult, that game is still unfathomably good looking. Like, holy shit,
awesome.
That game is incredible looking. They need to make a new proper F-Zero, but don't discount 99. That series is definitely not dead.
Yeah.
Anywhoosers. Moving on. There's Go Nintendo reports that Nintendo... We talked about something similar to this a while back with PlayStation. Nintendo seemingly cracks down an eShop loophole employed by hentai game devs. So there's a little bit less of those hentai games. Quote the article here. One loophole hentai games devs were using to make sure their games got all sorts of visibility came from their release of multiple versions of the same game. One quick look at the eShop would reveal multiple versions of the same hentai game that were listed as Ultimate Edition, Special Edition, Definitive Edition, Legendary Edition, Director's Cut, Game of the Year Edition, Amazing Edition, and Epic Edition. This caused these hentai games to basically flood the searches edition and charts artificially. So Nintendo has apparently yanked a lot of these games from the eShop. So like the original base games you can still find and their DLC, but all those wacky extra editions are not... it's a step in the right direction. It needs to be addressed because searchability on the eShop, on the PlayStation Store, Steam, to whatever you want to make of that, it is a problem, and it's stopping genuinely good games from getting noticed. So I love seeing steps in that direction.
Yeah, and like, make no mistake, like, I am not shaming anyone who wants to play those games. Fucking go for it. That's awesome. Like, if that's your jam, I'm not here to fucking yuck your yum, even a little bit. However, the storefronts are fucking unmanageable. They're just absolute nonsense. And one of the great things about this particular hobby is finding that thing that nobody else was talking about, but you saw a trailer for it, and you like that sort of organic discovery that is so infrequent in the algorithm-driven world that we live in. It's this wonderful thing where something pops up and you're like, oh, that looks cool. Let me click on this. Oh, that looks interesting. It's on sale. Son of a bitch. It's $6. I'll give it a shot. And then you've played Hollow Knight and you're like, fuck, this was incredible. Oh my God. I have to tell everyone about this game. And it's so hard to do that when you've got Big Titty Simulator, Special Edition, Legendary Edition, as you said, and alarm clocks just mucking up the works. It's just frustrating. Those games absolutely deserve to exist and have their place and go nuts. But they're just people that are better at this shit than me. There has to be a better way. There just has to be.
Well, moving on. I agree with you in every sense, but it is time to move on. Time Extension reports Dragon's Lair: The Legend for the original Game Boy is getting a re-release. So the retro publisher Incubate Games and British developer Elite are teaming up to reissue the 1991 Game Boy title Dragon's Lair: The Legend, both physically and digitally. So this is interesting. This one interested me for a couple of reasons. The fact that this game is getting re-released at all is kind of neat. Because this is one of those... They didn't recreate the game on the Game Boy, like, because you really couldn't do that. Although they did wind up doing it on Game Boy Color. Have you ever seen Dragon's Lair on Game Boy Color?
Yeah, it's
fucking
wild.
Wizardry. Looks amazing. Yeah. Just super cool. But this company, Incubate Games, I just found out about them this week. They had reached out to us to see if we wanted to carry their games, and I'd never heard of them before. Their collection of stuff like these homebrew games that they make these really nice looking physical games of look really good. I passed it along to my bosses, and we carry a handful of homebrew stuff on the site, so I kind of hope I kind of hope we look into this a little bit more. Especially since Dragon's Lair is one of them, but I was just poking around their site, and their presentation on their stuff looks really nice. So, yeah, that's awesome. Dragon's Lair is such a cool little property. Don Bluth, man, that animation is just so fucking good, and like the characters are really cool and interesting. Yeah, I'm all about it. Same here. This is an interesting one that I did not expect to see this morning. Time Extension reports, quote, "We owe you an apology. Hyperkin admits it has overpromised and underdelivered." So retro accessory maker Hyperkin has issued an apology on social media after a series of fumbled launches and heavily delayed releases. this is fascinating to me, and there's things in here that I had never even considered. I don't know that we got these guitars. Actually, let me double check that. That might be on my list of things here. No, that's a different one. So, Hyperkin released this Hyperstrummer guitar, to which somebody responded on Twitter, imagine seeing two companies announce brand new guitars for modern consoles and then decide, yeah, time to repackage our old stock Wii guitars from 2009.
Yeah, that's not cool.
That's definitely not cool. And they have... I didn't really realize it until I was reading this article, because I kind of forgot about these things. So the article says, the company has an unfortunate track record of announcing products, then going quiet on them for ages. For example, the Retron GX was revealed back in 2022, but is only now coming to market. That's their TurboGrafx Retron system. And then, oh crap, I closed the article. Darn it, get back here. And likewise, the Mega 95 portable Sega Genesis was really revealed last year, but has yet to be seen. I remember that one. Again, I totally forgot about it, but yeah, that was a really cool looking thing, and it just kind of disappeared. So apparently Hyperkin's got some new management, and they're going to be focusing on transparency, consistent connections, and uncompromising quality.
Oh, good. Thank God.
Which, look, we carry Hyperkin products at Stone Age Gamer, and I am a big fan of the ones that I've messed with for the most part. This is the company that made that Super NES mouse that I love.
Yeah.
It's big, but it's really cool, and it's a Super NES mouse that doesn't use a trackball. It's a proper modern mouse to play your Super Nintendo mouse games with, which is just so much better than that rinky-dink Mario Paint mouse. Hyperkin does offer some cool stuff, but I will also say that we've ordered a lot less from them than we have in previous years because their stuff stopped moving as quickly as it used to. Like, we order from a bunch of different distributors, but Hyperkin's one of the ones that has their own, for the most part, they do their own products. Whereas some of our other distributors kind of aggregate from a handful of other manufacturers. Boom, there's the word. And some of the Hyperkin stuff's been generally good. I think the most recent stuff we got from them was we were messing around with... They got GameCube shells, I want to say, in. Was it GameCube or was it... a different system, but they started carrying a couple of console shells, which was really interesting to us because console shells they seem to be very difficult. They're very popular. They seem to be difficult to keep in stock and difficult to find in good quality. Of course, Hyperkin also had this. They've been pushing real hard these limited edition Switch controllers that have. We didn't order any of these because they're all licensed things that look like hot dogs. Here's the Oscar Mayer limited edition controller and the Kraft mac and cheese and the Heinz ketchup. And I took one look at those. It's first off, the Switch is now 8 years old. And granted, it's still popular, but are we really going to go whole hog on a bunch of Switch controllers right now? And also, why do you want one that looks like an Oscar Mayer hot dog?
Who is that for?
This is a really weird licensing thing. They've been pushing the Miraculous Ladybug ones lately, and is there a Miraculous game that I'm unaware of? Because
5 years ago,
this seems like a really weird license to be slapping on controllers right now. It's really strange. Yeah. But then again, Hyperkin, their repair parts have been pretty solid. They had a Hall Effect joystick module for GameCube that we ordered a bunch of, and they seem to have done pretty well for themselves. So I like the notion of Hyperkin being under new management and taking some of their shit more seriously because they do have some pretty cool ideas. Their Retron consoles are, they're not the top of the line, the most amazing things in the world. They're not the analog systems, but
they're cool
for the casual player that just wants something they can plug into their HD TV that will play their games without a lot of fuss. We sell a bunch of Retrons, and we don't get very many returns on them. They do what they do what's written on the tin, and they're not crazy expensive. So I like Hyperkin. I want to see them get this together. So I didn't realize that the guitars apparently are just old stock repackaged. I'm not sure that that's actually the case, or if that's just the accusation, but also like the ads for them were all like gross AI looking stuff. So
yeah. Yeah, no, it's weird. Like, Hyperkin did have a really good name, like, in the retro gaming space, and over the last couple of years, it's just gone away.
Yeah, for
good reason.
They're not like, I don't think they've ever been revered as like the top of the line in the retro scene as far as like new controllers and stuff, but they definitely weren't like the bottom of the line either.
They had a respectable name.
Yeah, right there in the middle of the middle tier kind of stuff, which is not a bad thing. I don't want that to come off like it's an insult. Like,
no, because I think you nailed it when you were like, you look at the Retron 5, right, and how many different games that can play for the non-psychopath among us. Like, I've got a box of Nintendo games, and this thing can play all of them. I'll get one of those for $80 or $100 or whatever the fucking price of it is. I'm sure it's more expensive now.
It's $179.
Right, but even that, like, and they have other models that can just do I'm just saying, for the non-psychopath that isn't paying whatever the retro tink costs, and the difficulty of, not that it's that hard, but there is a learning curve with a lot of this stuff. This is plug and play. This is for the casual, I've got a box of games, wouldn't it be fun to play Punch-Out again?
Yeah.
And that's a perfectly awesome space to be in.
Hard agree. Moving on to our last story. Just because I wanted to end on something that brought me joy, Nintendo Life reports Nintendo expands Switch's online Game Boy library with 2 more titles. We finally got Donkey Kong and Mario's Picross. I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah, I mean, this was the for Kris update.
Holy shit, like just 2 of my absolute favorite Game Boy games. I've poured so many hours into these specific 2 games. Oh, Mario's Picross on my Switch. An excuse to play it again. Shut up, tablet.
Yeah, like you needed a fucking excuse.
That's the thing. I haven't gone back to Mario's Picross because the most recent thing I had that on was the 3DS. And, I have all those other Picross games on Switch, like the Picross S games. There's no shortage of Picross games on the Switch, including Mario Super Picross in the Super NES app, which I love diving into because I always wanted to play that one, but it never released in the US.
Right.
But Mario's Picross, oh my god. I don't think there was a Game Boy game I put more time into than that. I played it through to completion like 3 times. And the sounds of that game, the menus, the feel of the sort of weirdly delayed controls, like the nostalgia is so real on that. My only gripe is that both of these games, and really everything in the Game Boy app, there's no Super Game Boy option.
Right.
I really want to see Nintendo embrace the Super Game Boy again, because
you gotta leave something for Switch too, Kris.
Yeah, that's what I'm really hoping for. I'm hoping that if you have like, if maybe it's an expansion pack thing or something, but really the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy are both active apps. Like there doesn't seem to be any real reason to me that they couldn't just add Super Game Boy support to either one of those apps and have the option to play these games with that upgrade, because it was so cool. I want to see that happen so bad. But anyway, yes. Big fat bucket of win. Donkey Kong, or as Donkey Kong 94 as people tend to call it, is a fucking masterpiece. It's just so one of the best games.
It's so good.
Period. It's so fun. And that really just made me so happy that these 2 games, what a great combo of games for me specifically.
Yeah. I'm glad you ended on that, because there was other news that came out this week that was kind of a bummer, but maybe we'll talk about it next week. It's fine.
Maybe we will. Or maybe we'll just ignore it because there's been who wants to talk about bad news all the time?
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to take ourselves another break. When we come back, we're going to do what do we land on? The weekly wrap up.
Maybe the week that was.
The week that was.
I don't know.
Evan threw something at us to call this.
Yeah, but he's just an editor. Whatever.
Anyway, we're going to talk about what we've been doing. We're going to do our little catch-up routine at the end of the show that we do now.
The scuttlebutt.
The scuttlebutt. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. Oh, was it some random shit or whatever?
Random shit go. Yeah.
You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around.
When you hear the words cross-stitch, you probably think of a grandma lovingly making a Christmas stocking, a picture of a lighthouse, or maybe a Bible verse with flowers. But that's not what we do at Shoot the Moon Stitches. We take the old-fashioned art of cross-stitch and pair it with contemporary themes and imagery to create striking works of art that make the perfect gift for anyone who grew up with the internet and has a wicked sense of humor and an appreciation for pop culture. From cult favorite TV shows and movies, to retro video games, to TikTok trends. If it's made you smile, chances are we've stitched it. You can shop our selection of art and gifts by going to Etsy.com and searching Shoot the Moon Stitches. For all your fun, feminist, fandom fiber art needs, visit Shoot the Moon Stitches.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andy. Neither of us are David Crane, but we are the hosts of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time.
That's our monthly Geekade Patreon exclusive podcast that covers movies that are cult classics, weird, or just sometimes laughably bad.
We ourselves have at least two of those qualities, so I guess it makes sense to hear what we think of those movies in retrospect.
You can hear all that and more by becoming a Geekade Patreon supporter.
And, as always, be kind, rewind.
Hi everyone, Kris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast. All right, everybody, we are back. It's time to talk about what the heck we've been up to these days. What's new and exciting with you, Dan? What's going on?
Oh, not much. My headphone cord just got tangled, so I'm in the middle of a crisis, Kris. because I'm trying not to unplug. What is happening? Oh my God. Jesus. I was delivered a Shamrock Shake out of the blue, but now this is okay. Good, everything's fixed. Man, not much. Like this, like I said earlier at the top of the show, this has been like, because the weather's been so wild this week. Like we've gone kind of up and down in temperature a bunch, and we had just a wicked rainstorm that came through on like Tuesday or Wednesday. That was, I don't know if you got it much down by where you are.
We did. We
but
got a lot of wind, but yeah.
So fucking windy and so rainy. Which my new vehicle performed just admirably. As good as could possibly be in the fucking weather. I was driving like there wasn't any weather. I was one of those assholes. So I was like, fuck it. I got all-wheel drive. Let's actually put it to the test. And it fucking did great. I loved it. But because of all of that, like weather and the pressure changes and shit, my hands have been bad like they were like a month ago this week. Which has been really frustrating. You know, like trying to play video games or whatever. Cause I thought like, I was like, oh, I'm like kind of on the way back or whatever. And, no, not so much. So it's been like a week of television and whatnot as I kind of prepare. I got the news. I guess I found it out this week. I think, my surgery, for the last biopsy is going to be on the 19th of this month.
That's not so far out.
So yeah, like it's like a week and a half away or whatever. So, you know, again, obviously I'm hoping they go in there and they're like, oh, it was like a centimeter. I can't even find it. I needed a magnifying glass, you know, to find this little fucking node, and it's not a big deal. But theoretically by like the end of this month, give or take a couple days, I should know whether or not I'm going back in the hospital or going into the hospital. I haven't been hospitalized yet. But if I'm going into the hospital or if we're just monitoring, kind of whatever. We have a vacation planned, which I guess we're going to have to talk about off the air, because I just realized we're going to not be here on a Friday. For the end of the month, we have to drive down to Virginia and pick up my mother-in-law's stuff from Virginia, because there's just family drama, and I just don't care. And like every time they're like, oh, can you believe? I'm like, don't fucking miss me with all of that bullshit. I don't care. You need me to go pick up boxes? I will go pick up your boxes. That's fine. You're going to pay for me to stay in a fucking hotel? Awesome. I will drive to Virginia for a couple of days. And I'm like actually really looking forward to it, because the last time Tiff and I were able to just go and be adults somewhere for a couple of days was for my 40th birthday. We went to see Lewis Black in Atlantic City, but that was just an overnight trip. You know, like we drove down, we went to see Lewis Black, and then we were back the next day. And we did the same thing for my 30th birthday when we went to Georgia to see Weezer. But other than that, we haven't, like, that's what happens when you have kids for the most part. Your kids go with you when you go on vacation. So it's not even really a vacation anymore. So we're at the end of this month, we're going to drive down to Virginia, and it'll either be a celebratory little vacation thing of like, sweet, I don't have any more cancer, awesome, or it will be like a let's get this one vacation in before I got to go into the hospital for a couple of weeks. But I'll have the procedure, and it's only like it's an outpatient surgery. The doctor that I talked to, he was like, yeah, it'll take like an hour, it's fine. He was like, you have a nerve in there that if I nick it, this is what he said. How fucked up is this? He was like, you have a nerve in there, and if I hit it, then you won't be able to use your left arm anymore because it controls all of your shoulder movement. But I've never done it before. I don't imagine why I would now. I was like, why the fuck would you say that out loud, Doc? What a dickhead thing to now have me thinking about, you monster. But like it's such a simple little surgery. They'll go in, I'll barely have a scar from it, and then hopefully we'll find out that I'm cancer free, and we're in monitoring at that point. But yeah, it's been a frustrating week from that end of it. Of like, man, I thought I was improving, and I'm not improving at the level that I would like to be, because there's just factors outside of my control, right? Like, I can't obviously control the weather. I'm not Jewish, and I don't have any space lasers, so.
Well, that's just
nothing on that.
That sounds like a big failing on your part.
You're just gonna let that one go? Okay, that's fine.
You're just over here stating facts. I don't know. What am I supposed to say?
No, I know.
That?
Again,
you're not Jewish, something you don't have a space laser. I know that.
So therefore, ergo, I cannot control the weather. So it's been a week in TV, right? Like, the new Daredevil show has happened, and like, do you want to talk about it now? Because I do.
Sure.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is.
Holy shit, it's good.
Oh, it's more
God,
Daredevil.
I love Daredevil.
It's more Daredevil. And of course, the internet, the internet hates it.
Do
Disney,
they?
I mean,
stop.
There's like half of people mean like, this is fucking great. I'm so glad to have Daredevil back. And then, of course, there's the headlines. We wanted Daredevil back, but not like this. It's so sad. Disney ruins everything. Somehow forgetting that Disney made the other Daredevil series. I know it was on Netflix, but Disney Plus didn't exist yet.
Yeah. I mean, But again, let's not let facts get in the way of my narrative.
Exactly.
I'm trying to say shit here, Kris, and I don't care what's actually true. It's so fucking good, man.
It's been 2 episodes. I have a big problem with the fact that they killed Foggy. I understand.
Spoilers. Jesus.
Come on.
You didn't even give Evan an opportunity to put a wee in there. Well, this is God of War all over again, Kris.
Evan, there's the first episode, the first 15 minutes, they killed Foggy Nelson. So happy to have him back.
Shot through the heart, and you're to blame, Kris.
Yeah, it was...
Giving love a bad name.
I don't know that I agree with it. I understand the purpose of it. I do. I don't know that it was necessarily the right thing to do, because that beginning of that episode was a reminder of how great the chemistry of these 3 characters are.
Yeah.
And to get rid of that, even in service of a specific narrative, I don't know that that's necessarily the best thing for the show. Aside from the fact that, fuck you don't kill Foggy Nelson. I love that guy. But
how very fucking dare you?
Besides my love of that character and his portrayal on the show, obviously we'll see where it goes. It's been 2 episodes, and I have very much enjoyed both of those episodes. The fact that that specific group dynamic, those 3 characters, which were the heart and soul of the original series, that has been killed. I don't know that it's long-term the best idea for the show, but I also am not a showrunner. And I'm certainly not going to stop watching it, because Vincent D'Onofrio has been fucking killing it as Kingpin.
Oh my God.
I'm very curious what happened between him and Vanessa. Like, I kind of know, but also, like, she was nuts about him. And then, like, I'm missing something. And it was really interesting, because when we finished watching the second episode today, over lunchtime, Karen was like, I don't think there's anything wrong between him and Vanessa. I think they're faking it, and I don't know why. I was like, that never even occurred to me.
Take.
It's right. That never occurred to me. But what if they are? Also, and again, I hate saying this because it wasn't a very good show, but like, I didn't see Foggy's body not get zapped. You know what I mean?
No.
We know his heart stopped. We know that it was then years later.
A year. 1 year later.
I don't know that he wasn't a Skrull.
Oh, shit.
I mean,
that's...
I don't know.
That's an easy way to explain it away. I don't think they will.
Right, because I don't know where this specifically takes place in relation to Secret Invasion. I don't know how many Skrulls are still out there. But
I don't know that we're ever going to talk about Secret Invasion again. We're just going to pretend that fucking disaster didn't fucking happen. Like, what I'm interested in, kind of like you said, like where this is taking place. I haven't seen Brave New World yet. Just because I just haven't had time to like get to the theater. It's hard because Tiff works all weekend. She works, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I work Monday through Friday. So it's like, when do we go to the movies? Right? Like, never, obviously. It's very, very hard for us to get that time to be able to do that. So I'm interested how all this is working together. They've done a really good job of kind of pulling this into the MCU with just slight little things, like when Kingpin is, again, spoilers, and if you've read the comics, like you kind of know where this is going. But as he is elected mayor and he's talking about how you don't need a vigilante with a skull on his chest, it's like, oh, I think maybe he's talking about Punisher, or someone dressed up in a spider suit. It's like, all right, this is fully into the MCU now.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we knew it was with Charlie Cox appearing in the Spider-Man movie, that incredible, a very good lawyer. Like, that was such a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
But that could have been fan service, much in the same way that fucking Krasinski was Reed Richards in Doctor Strange, But now we are in the MCU, right? That's where we are. And God, I don't know that anybody has nailed a character as well as Vincent D'Onofrio has nailed the Kingpin. The way that he talks with that anger bubbling beneath the surface, like, just watch what he does with his fingers as he is talking. The level of, like, the self-control that he has to exercise to not murder everyone in front of him is just an incredible acting performance that he is giving. And Charlie Cox is fucking great. This show is just, it's so fucking good. It's so good. I'm so happy.
I'm really happy about it. I'm so glad it's back. I really, we're watching it, and, in the second episode, they're trying to find this guy, right? They're trying to find the other guy on the platform. And Karen's just like, you happen to know a private investigator. Get Jessica Jones on the phone.
Right.
All right. Well, and yes, that makes sense. But you're always going to run into stuff like that when you're,
of course,
when you're doing a, it's the same thing with the regular MCU movies. Like, why didn't you call up Thor? You know what I mean? Like,
this seems like a Thor problem, guys. Like, maybe give him a call.
Of the beast. It's just the nature of the beast.
There was when Fisk is giving his New Year's Eve address in Times Square, there's like the Rogers the Musical thing is there, but there's also an advertisement, and it's real quick. Like, if you don't, like, if you're not looking for it, you're going to miss it, kind of thing. But, like, that's what I love about these shows. They throw all this shit in there. There's an advertisement in Times Square for the club that Luke Cage owns, and I can't remember what it's called now.
Oh, really?
What the fuck was the name of that club? The Harlem Renaissance? Was that the name of the club?
I don't fucking remember, but that's been a while since I've watched Luke Cage, but that's
I think
cool.
That's what it's called. But, like, not only it has, like, it's an advertisement for the club, but it is a quote from Luke Cage. Like, it's attributed to him. So, like, even that part is so, like, is Mike Coulter gonna show up at some point? Like, I don't know that we necessarily need a third season of Luke Cage. I would certainly be excited because I thought he was great. Yeah,
with the way that ended, you absolutely ended with him sitting cliffhanger. You're goddamn right.
With him sitting down in the club,
exactly.
But, like, does it need a full season or does it need an explanation? I don't know.
Does it need Defenders season 2?
Right. I mean, oh, God, fuck Finn Jones. God
Yeah,
damn it.
but,
I hate that guy.
Really liked that second season. I
know,
really did.
But I don't know. Secret Invasion is the worst thing Marvel has done. Like Secret Invasion, Inhumans, but like at Marvel proper, Secret Invasion is just at the very, very bottom of the list. Finn Jones may be the worst casting that they've done.
Yeah,
he was just awful. He was awful. And there's that, like, he got better, but he was still shit. Like you said earlier, he wasn't a pile of shit. He was just a couple of turds in the second season. Maybe by the third season, he would have been fucking awesome. But I doubt it. He was so bad.
And, like, that's not... The MCU has been pretty solid in its casting, generally speaking. So, like, it's
100%, like, kind of across the board,
like a sore thumb. Even in that show, you know, Colleen was great.
Everything was great.
Everything was great except him. He was just at best fine.
But then it was like the world's greatest martial artist who beat a dragon is moving like he's fucking underwater with weights tied to his ankles. Like, it just was so bad. He would have been fine as a not martial artist character. Because he's not a bad actor. Like, that wasn't the problem. Problem was that this is supposed to be the greatest martial artist in the world who has defeated a dragon. And it was like, nah, dude. Like, literally everyone else in this show is better at Kung Fu than you are. This
not buying it.
Fucking sucks. But yeah, I mean, short story long, Daredevil is fucking great. I've been so happy that there's been enough things on television to distract me, even though I can't do the things that I usually do, like to unwind and like playing video games and that sort of stuff. You know, it's impacted like my treatments and whatnot, impacted a lot of the creative things that I like to do. All of that different stuff has been severely impacted by the cancer treatments and whatnot. The one thing that hasn't is that we are still in this kind of golden age of like prestige television where there's just so much good stuff that you have to skip things. You would love The Penguin. It was incredible, but where are you going to fit it in?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm booked. Pretty solidly booked.
It's a good place. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Right? Of like, there's so much good stuff that I can't even get to it. You know, that will be like the only positive. If I do end up getting hospitalized for 3 weeks, that will be like the only positive outcome, is that I will have no choice but to just sit there and watch a bunch of shit that I've missed. Like, how many seasons of Shoresy are there? I bet you I could get through it in 3 weeks.
Oh my god! I get through it in a couple of days.
When there's nothing else I can do.
There's super short episodes. You can blow through Shoresy. God, I love that show.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, that would be the only positive from it, is that, like, I'll do an MCU rewatch because I'm in this bed for the next 21 days. Like, fuck, all right. You know. Yeah. Overall, like, I'm trying to stay positive. Like, I'm feeling good. You know, I'm going to work every day. You know, things are starting to feel normal. You know, like, it's still like, I still get tired by the end of the day. Like, my feet hurt. My legs are still really, really stiff. My hands are still really stiff. But again, all of that is expected. Like, that, you know, could take up to 6 months. You know, but I have some facial hair right now. It's like blonde, which is really weird. But it's there. Like, I went to give Tiff a kiss the other day, and she was like, that feels weird, because like she hasn't felt it in 7 months, you know. And now there's like fucking like soft, and it's not like beard hair. That's kind of the weird thing. It's like soft, like head hair almost. I don't know. It's very strange. but my eyebrows are coming back. Like, I got some eyelashes again. You know, like, all of this stuff is starting to, like, happen, and I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I just need to get through this, like, next bit, and then it can be like, all right, now I can really start to plan for, like, all right, I'm on the other side of it for now. Let's, you know, go do some yard work, and let's clean out the garage, and, like, all of those things that are on hold in the interim. So, you know, yeah. A lot of Marvel Snap. That's what I can do. That's what I did this week. A lot of Marvel Snap.
Yeah, good enough.
But nobody wants to hear about that.
I sure as fuck don't. Oh,
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Boy, like I said, this has been a week. I already wasn't feeling spectacular, just because of my head, which, you know, is really bugging me right now. But I'm just going to say that it's hopefully because I'm lacking sleep and not because I'm going to need to cancel my plans tomorrow and go to the emergency room, which is really what I'm hoping is not the case.
That's your fucking glasses, man.
It's got to be, right?
That's the only thing that makes sense.
It's so not true, but I really wish it was.
I mean, there's so many other things that, you know, it could be brain amoebas. You and RFK, fucking lousy with brain amoebas.
Who knows?
Or worms, whatever the fuck it was. But no, like that, it does, there is a reasonable, rational explanation for why you have the headache you have.
Yeah, it's just hopefully
that doesn't involve, like, dysentery and death.
Yeah. No, it's been an interesting week as far as just me being overworked and doing a lot of everything and not having any rest time. And today yesterday kind of came to a point a little bit where I got to spend a little bit of time with a friend of mine, which made me really happy. I had a really nice end of the day yesterday and morning today. Like I hosted Quizzo on Wednesday. I really didn't want to. I wasn't up to it. I felt terrible. I don't even remember most of it. It was during the storm. So like I'm there just reading the questions enthusiastically, but also like sweating and feeling like death. The power went out at the bar for like 5 minutes, which was super fun.
It's not what you want.
No, really not. But then Ellie has a play date with with her friend, kind of like every Thursday. We take turns. Like she goes to her house, she comes to my house, etc. every other week. And she went to her friend's house on Thursday, and I went to go pick her up. And her friend's mom is a really good friend of mine. She's the one who got me into the gym, and I just got to sit down and talk to her for a while. Like, we don't get to talk very often anymore because, like, we got to know each other when our kids were both in cheer. And so, like, you know, we'd go to the cheer practices and we'd have nothing else to do. So we'd just sit and hang out and talk. And it was great. Yeah. But then, like, when we stopped being able to watch the cheer practices, they started being like, parents shouldn't stay anymore. And so they'd kick us out. Right,
because now you're a distraction to the kid.
Yeah. So now, like, me and I get to see her every day when I, you know, pick up the kids from school. We talk for like 5 minutes at a time. Or, like, we'll say hi at the gym, and that's pretty much it. And I just got to sit and hang out with her for like 45 minutes while the girls were playing yesterday when I went to go pick them up. And it just was like, it was nice to just sit and talk for a little bit for more than 5 minutes. And I had recorded Wave Back with Matt last night, which was really good. We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs listening to Earthworm Jim. And then this morning I, you know, saw her at the gym and my other friend at the gym. And again, lots of comedy was had. And also, she has this dog named Brookie, who I love. This dog is fucking nuts. She's a puppy. She has got so much energy, but she's like, I don't know, man. She's always excited to see me, and I just like, I'm sitting there.
And that feels good.
It does. It really does. So I just get to sit there, and the whole time I'm talking to her, I'm also playing with the dog, and like just playing tug and standing up and running around, and what a great dog. She's a great dog. I really need her and Hopper to get along. The problem was, like, we went to the dog park together once, and as soon as Hopper saw her, he tried to kill her. And it wasn't like, it wasn't the usual, like, Hopper wants to play and is overexcited about it and looks scary. He wanted to fucking kill this dog, and I don't know why. It was just some sort of chemical thing. I have never seen him act like that towards another dog. It was just like, it was frightening. So
that's wild.
If the two of them,
he's so chill.
He is. He's not around other dogs. He's not.
Well,
around people, great.
Yeah.
Other dogs, especially ones that are smaller than him, he is not chill. However, this was a horse of a different color when he met Brookie, and like, he just needs to play with other dogs, but he can't be trusted around other dogs. Like, that's the problem. The only other dogs that he behaves around are dogs that he can't play with because they're either too fat and lazy or too small, and he would hurt them. Like,
fuck it, send him back here for a week. Get his ass right in shape.
I would miss him too much.
I know.
He's such a good boy. He's over there on the couch right there. He's always so happy when I come home from the gym. He's sitting on the couch still, like he's half awake, because it's pretty early when I go there, and like he'll just start wagging his tail super fast while he's still balled up, so it's like thumping against the couch. I'm like, oh, my little buddy. But yes, it's been a very hard week, especially with, like, you know, the whole fear of the headache thing, and who knows what's going on there. Like, am I dying? And, you know, Karen still hasn't gotten the results back from some tests that she went in for, so it's been a stressful week in that front, and it's just been a lot. And this weekend is going to be super busy with fun stuff, really fun stuff. Tomorrow, we're doing a theater near you. For the letter R, we're doing a Roadhouse double feature. We're going to watch Roadhouse, and then we're going to watch Roadhouse, and then we're going to go have dinner at Texas Roadhouse. Then we're going to come home.
That's the kind of stupid I'm here for.
Right?
Love that.
It's going to be fucking fantastic. I'm so excited about it. We're very specifically not going to watch Roadhouse 2, which I heard is terrible. But
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, this is direct-to-video. No, terrible. But the Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse is really fucking good. And of course, the original. Roadhouse
that seems strong.
Oh no,
really
it's not.
Fucking good seems strong.
It's not. It's really fucking awesome. It's Karen and I watched it and we're shocked at how much fun that was. That was a good time.
All right.
I'm hoping to remember. I'm hoping our second watch is it reaffirms that. But it was fucking great. We had a really good time with that. Not that we expected to, but we did. So that's going to be a real fun day. And then on Sunday, I got my mom Flyers tickets for Christmas. So Sunday's that
nice.
Game. So we're going out to see the Flyers probably lose to the Devils because the Flyers have been playing like shit.
I don't know. Did they make any trades today? Today was the trade deadline for the NHL.
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. I know that they beat the Jets recently, and they're the number one team in the league. But then they lost to them last night. But they beat them the other day, so like, who the fuck knows?
That's fair.
They're capable of beating the Devils right now. Will they? I hope so.
Jack Hughes, like the player on the Devils, just got hurt. He's out for the rest of the season. I know that.
Well,
that's a bummer.
That puts a smile on my face. They did just lose to the Jets 6-1 today, so
that's not great.
No, well, that was the Devils. The Flyers. Flyers didn't play today. They lost to the Jets 4-1. So, yesterday. So
by the transitive property,
it's possible. I don't know. I'm excited. I hope it goes well. I hope I can go. I hope I'm not in a hospital with a hole drilled in my head to try to relieve whatever fluids are building up, and I'm going to die.
I mean, I'll do the drilling if you want. I don't know that you should want, but I will.
I don't.
Okay. I mean, just don't say it. Like, don't say I don't offer shit to you.
I would never say that. I would never say that.
I just, I don't want to be labeled a bad friend because I wouldn't drill a hole in your head. Like, I definitely will.
But anyway, to wrap this up, I didn't really get to play much. Didn't get to play much in terms of video games. I did get to play more Thousand Year Door over the weekend after we recorded.
Nice.
And it's quite good. Unsurprisingly, I'm having a blast with it. It's really fun. And I don't think I'm going to get to play much of it this weekend because I'm going to be pretty anytime that I'm not doing Roadhouse or Flyers, I'm going to be doing chores, but I don't know. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
But that's it. I had no chances to play video games this week, with the exception of UN Squadron today. Like, this week has just been a fucking nightmare, and I'm exhausted beyond belief, and I am really just ready for bed.
Well, I mean, on that note,
yeah,
wrap us up.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. So we talked about Daredevil. Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door is great, and that's our show. Join us next time for the return of the SAG bag. Yes, we'll be answering.
I'm so excited.
We'll be answering your burning questions, and no topic is off limits. So get us your questions, and we'll be sure to answer them. Though if you're hearing this on Friday, it's entirely possible we won't get your questions in time, because this show is going to air the same day we're recording the SAG bag. So I'll be sure to announce this with more advance notice the next time. Although I mentioned it on the show last week, I think. So there's been plenty of time.
You did.
You've got questions. Send them our way.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. Yeah, there's a ton of questions in the Discord already, which is where we're getting the majority of these questions from. So should be a good time. We are on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to the show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked in the show notes. It helps keep this show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. We'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That's it. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.